Welcome to the 34th annual KVIE Art Auction. Join us all weekend for a celebration of local and regional visual arts. Over 250 pieces will be auctioned off to the highest bidder, and you can be part of the action by watching and bidding on your favorite pieces. View the entire collection online at kvie.org/artauction. Then when your favorite item appears, call 1-844-KVIE-ART to place your bid. 100% of the auction proceeds benefit the programs and services of your local PBS station, KVIE. So thank you for watching and bidding. And now, let the auction begin.
Good evening and welcome to the 2015 KVIE Art Auction. I'm David Lowe, KVIE President and General Manager, here with Executive Assistant Kelly Raines. And this weekend, we're celebrating 34 years of the Art Auction, a 3-day television event showcasing over 250 pieces of local artwork.
Each of these pieces was graciously donated in support of the arts mission of KVIE Public Television, and they can be yours. All it takes is a phone call and a bid, and a beautiful piece of artwork might be on your wall as early as tomorrow. Getting
involved is easy to do. You can preview the entire collection online at kvie.org/artauction, or just stay tuned to KVIE this weekend. When you see something you like, call the number on your screen and place a bid.
We have volunteers here throughout the weekend who will help you bid on the art. And if you're the highest bidder, then it's yours.
So now, let's get things started. Take a quick look at how easy it is for you to get involved in this year's auction. And thanks for watching.
Bidding on items in the art auction is quick and easy to do. First, explore the collection online at kvie.org/artauction, or keep your television tuned to KVIE. When a piece of art catches your eye, call 1-844-KVIE-ART and a volunteer will assist you. KVIE accepts all major credit cards for your art purchase, and a member of our accounting team will confirm your payment within 5 minutes of item sale. Thank you for being part of the KVIE Art Auction and for making art a part of your home today.
Stay tuned for California's Gold, coming up next on the KVIE Art Auction. Juried by Maria Winkler, this category celebrates the beauty of California landscapes in all media.
This is so exciting. We've been preparing for this for so long, and it is here. Hello and welcome to the 2015 KVIE Art Auction. I'm Rob Stewart, and over the next hour, we will be celebrating the legacy of the beloved Huell Hauser, who we miss so much, with this collection called California's Gold. Now, if you're tuning in for Washington Week right now, don't worry, that program will broadcast tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. right here on KVIE. This portion of the art auction is sponsored by Crow Harworth, and we would like to thank them for their commitment to supporting the arts on KVIE. Again, that's Crow Harworth, and we thank them so much. And now let's take a look at the art that is up for bid in this next half hour. It's going to be a beautiful half hour you don't want to miss. This is 1A. It's stunning. It's Riverfront by Leslie Philpott. It's acrylic on board, measuring 24 by 24. The retail value is $350. Item 1B is Left at the Tree by Nora Peralta. This is acrylic on canvas. It measures 36 by 36. The retail value is $400. Item 1C, isn't this beautiful? Two Birds Beckoning. Looks like birds of paradise by Marciala Bambola. This is a watercolor. It measures at 30.5 by 36.5. The artist framed it, by the way. Retails at $600. Item 1D, there you see it, Stagecoach Reflections. And guess what? This is a Jurors Award in the Contemporary Classics. This is by Judy Lou Luce. This is a watercolor measuring 24 by 18. Artist framed, retails at $875. What a beauty. Item 1E, I love this one, Rivers and Fields by Richard Stein. This is acrylic on canvas. It's large, measuring 30 by 40. Retail value is $800. And item 1F is Popular Path. Just look at that. By Linda Abbott. This is oil on canvas, measuring 36 by 36. Retail value is $900. Juror Award as well, which is fantastic in the still life and landscape. Okay, so during this break, I am pleased to be joined by Dee Oldham Neath. Big round of applause, everybody, for Dee Oldham Neath. So she's KVIE's art curator, and I also have to say she's the only actual PBS curator for a station in the country. She has been involved in the Sacramento art community for over 30 years. She owns Archival Gallery and is one of the founders of Second Saturday. Welcome, Dee.
I'm so excited about this weekend.
I know. And you know what? Can I just say, I'm so glad you're doing better.
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Dee had a heart attack about a month ago, and believe it or not, she's standing here doing fantastic.
Thank you, Mercy
So,
General.
all right. Glad you're doing well. Okay. Tell us about this beautiful piece.
We started out with a bang. This is Leslie Philpott. This is a plein air painting of the Sacramento River. I wanted to start out with something that was really traditional. It has I can't believe it's got a retail value of $350. If this was in my gallery, I would definitely want the artist to charge more. It's a really beautiful piece. It's plein air, which means that she actually painted it on site. So it's kind of got that cold, wintry Sacramento sort of feel going on.
We did a show on the Delta recently, and this looks like so many scenes along the Sacramento Delta. It's absolutely beautiful. I want to point out we have a new phone number this year, 1-844. We made it easier, KVIE Art, or that's 584-3278. 1-844-KVIE Art. Dee, we're looking for an opening bid right now of $105. And as you said, if this were in your gallery, archival, it would be way more.
And Leslie's a very well-known artist here in town. The nice thing about the art auction is you can buy this tonight and you can come pick it up and hang it up tomorrow.
I love that.
100% of the proceeds from the auction go to PBS. The artists donate the work. They do not receive a commission for their work. And as the curator, I pride myself on talking them out of their best pieces.
Well, we're glad that you do that. Let's get those phones ringing because we need this to be an auction. And let's go over to the phone bank and check in with David and Kelly and see what's happening over there. Starting to hear the phones ring.
Thanks, Rob. We're having a great time over here. We're with the phone bank from Hewlett-Packard. They are ready to take your bids at 1-844-584-3278. That's KVIE Art, 844-KVIE Art. And when you call in a bid on local art, you're supporting local public television and over 500 hours of arts programming every year for you and your family. 1-844-KVIE Art. And we're going back over to Rob. Rob?
So this is how it works with the auction every year, and it starts off slow because think about it. Whenever you go to buy something, you stare at it, you check it out for a bit, you wonder, do I want it?
We're giving them a little break here in the beginning,
and it always works that way.
It goes fast and faster and faster.
And it doesn't bother us at all because once it picks up, it picks up. So we're looking for a bid of $105. I will tell you, if you're interested, get in now because once the phones start to ring more, the prices just keep going up and going up.
And
tell us more.
We do close it out fairly quickly. Leslie is a Sacramento area artist. She can be seen the Sacramento River, obviously.
Do you know her?
Yes. She's been around for quite some time. She shows, I'm trying to remember which gallery. I know I've seen her show locally in the Sacramento area. The reason I chose this piece for the very first piece in the auction.
I was curious.
Well, I thought, it's just such a beautiful Sacramento scene. I mean, we're such Delta people here.
Well, and we are Sacramento's storyteller. And this piece tells the story of Sacramento.
And I like it because it's kind of a moodier piece. I happen to I fish, so I love the river when it's cold and a little gray. And Leslie did a beautiful job of conveying that. But then, she's gone through and she's used some really brave color choices in here and in here to really kind of make that river pop. And I really like that about her work.
I'm just watching the phone bank, and I'm astounded because so many people are on the phone. So the bids we do have people who are interested in this. We just need a bid for $105 to get this bid going. And once we have 2 people on for one piece, then we have a full-fledged auction. So the phones are ringing. There you see the beautiful piece, Riverfront by Leslie Philpott, 1-844-584-3278. which is KVIE Art. There you see it on the screen. This piece can be yours right now at a starting bid for $105, Dee.
I know, and It's a beautifully priced work, and we're going to keep it open for another 5 or so minutes.
Yeah, because the calls are
call
in
now.
on that one right now. And we'll keep that one going again. We were just looking for a starting bid of 105, and we got it. So, see, that's how it works. It just takes a little bit of time. People have to start. They look at it. We're at 105. We're looking to take that higher. That one goes offline. We're moving on forward to the next. So you see how it works, folk? You see how it works? It goes quickly, but once it starts, we move forward. This is Left at the Tree by Nora Peralta, 1B, a value at $400. And this is absolutely beautiful. The colors just pop.
Again, I wanted to start the auction with some of the pieces that were reasonably priced, but were still just magnificent. This is one of them. Nora Peralta has been in the auction 4 or 5 times. She won awards at the San Joaquin Fair.
Nice.
And some places like that. I love the title of the piece. Left at the Tree is sort of a little play on words because Nora says she's directionally challenged.
Oh.
And that she leaves stuff at home all the time too. So
Okay.
it could be left at the tree or left at the tree.
Okay.
So she did a little play on words. It's a large piece. It's a really good focal piece for a living room. It would look great in your office. You know, remember, you're at work 8 hours a day. Why not fill your office with things that you enjoy being around?
I love that, and I've started to do that. I have a couple of things at my desk. By the way, the piece we were on earlier, there's a full-fledged auction going on. We're up to 200 on that one. We're looking for a starting bid now on Left at the Tree for $120. As you look, as you take in the beauty, as you take in the California colors, this is the California Gold collection this hour. And there you see California Gold in its finest.
In all of its beauty. The other thing I kind of like about this piece, which makes it a little different, is she's done some real traditional techniques up here, but then the piece has this sort of contemporary, almost dance-like feel towards the bottom. She's also painted the image all the way around the canvas.
I see that.
That's why it does not have a frame on it. Unfortunately, we can't whiz the cameras all the way around, but it is painted all the way around on the edge, so that's why it is unframed.
Yeah, you can kind of get a glimpse of it right there where your hand was over there, that it's wrapped all the way around. So this would retail for $400 if this were at Dee's Gallery, and right now we're looking for a starting bid of $120. But boy, look at Riverfront up to $250. I'd love to see that happen.
Well, sometimes it takes a little while to look at it a few times. That's why I strongly suggest that if you're just tuning into the auction and you have not looked at the collection online, that you go to kvie.org/art auction. You can look over the whole collection for the entire weekend and pick out your favorites in advance.
See, that is such a good point.
They go so fast.
Because it's like going shopping. You have to take time to look for things, right? And this one's being looked at popularly, clearly, and David Lowe's going to tell us more about that.
Hey, thanks, Rob. I'm here with item number 1A, and we have a few people bidding on this right now. This is a last person standing auction, and what that means is we might be going off air, moving to another piece, but if there are bidders and they're calling in and they're going back and forth, it still gives you at home time to call in and get in on the bidding. So we've got a high bid right now of $350 on item number 1A, but there's still a chance for you to call 1-844-KVIE-ART and get in on the bidding. Rob, over to you.
All right, thank you, David. Nice to see that happening over there. This beautiful piece that we're looking at right now by Nora, has she won any awards?
Nora was a Jurors Award winner in the KVIE art auction last year.
Really?
Yeah. So she's been very popular. This was a very popular piece at the preview party. There was a lot of people gathered around it. Well, it's big, it's bold, it makes a statement, and it's just so California.
Okay, so we now have a bid on it, $120. So people are studying and they're taking it in, and that's what an auction means, because once people start to take it in, they start to bid. Now we need 2 people on the line for this one, and when we have 2, we have a full-fledged auction. Dee, do you see this as a piece growing in value?
Nora started her career later in life, but gosh, just within the last 4 years, she's become more active. She's been more involved in local galleries. You know, I definitely see this artist career taking off.
That's
in
fantastic.
The future.
$120. Phone number is 844-584-3273, which is KVIE Art. The auction is on Wow, look at Riverfront. It's already over the amount. That's fantastic. All right, so I love this piece, and it's so California. Two Birds Beckoning. And this is by Marciella Bambola, and it's Birds of Paradise, right?
Yeah.
And I love it. It's watercolor 30.5 by 36.5, and it's huge. I mean,
I have
see it.
I have such an appreciation for people that do watercolor. It's a very, very difficult medium, and Marciella is amazing. When I first see these, they come in online. And so, you know, I'm seeing them on a computer and they're not really big, but this one was so vivid and so exciting. I was excited by the piece just by looking at the little, you know, the little tiny piece on the internet. So
well, clearly somebody else was too, because we already had a bid at $180 for this right out of the gate, but you have a retail on this at $600.
And I would like to point out that it was very gracious of the artist. She donated it already framed. It has an absolutely beautiful Italian gilded frame on it with a matching fillet. Framers call it a fillet.
A fillet?
Not a steak. It's not a fillet, it's a fillet. It has a matching fillet on it. She did a really good job of presentation with this. It's set back a little bit. This would be a stunning piece in a formal dining room, someplace where you want to add, you know, a little breath of life, but at the same time put a really elegant piece in there.
Mm-hmm. Also, this piece could be the focal point, in my opinion, of a room, of a dining room, of a living room. And right now it's at $180. We're looking to get that up to $200. And the phones, as I'm looking over across the studio, there are lots of people on the phone. I'm watching some of we have a screen here where we can see the numbers for the other pieces, and the other ones are just going up and up and up. So get in early, because when we close it, we close it. So the earlier you get in, the better your chances are to take this piece home. Right now, it's at 180-1844 KVIE Art. Dee, tell us more about the style of painting this is. This is a watercolor.
This is a watercolor, and Marciella has been doing, this was actually an homage to her grandfather who loved the bird of paradise flower.
Beautiful.
So, you know, maybe you want to honor somebody in your family. And buy something nice for them. This is a good gift. But Marciella has been doing the Bird of Paradise as a series for the last year and a half.
Nice.
So there are other pieces available. This one she chose to donate to us.
That's very kind.
And again, the artist receives no part of the sale.
Okay, they want us to go to the phone bank for a second. They'll come back to us in a minute. Phone bank?
The phones are busy, and I hope you're on the phones with our phone bank, Hewlett Packard. 844 KVIE Art. That's 844-584-3278. Call in and bid on local art and support local public television. When you do, you're supporting great local programs like Rob on the Road, Viewfinder, Studio Sacramento, Yes, We're Open, and more. And also national programs like Masterpiece. We're going over back to Dee and Rob. Rob?
All right, thanks so much, Kelly. We're still on this beautiful piece. I love Two Birds Beckoning and the beautiful Birds of Paradise. They're so California. They last a long time in the yard, but they can last forever in your home. Watercolor, I'm told, is hard. I'm no art expert. You are, but is that accurate?
David, in another half hour, we're going to have a whole half hour of watercolor, and David's a really good one to explain that. But
David Lobenberg.
Yeah.
Yep.
The amazing thing about watercolor, and you can see this in Marciella's piece, is that there is no room for error. You can't, it's not like with oil paint where, you know, oh, I messed up a little bit here, I can paint over it. Once you've laid down that color, it's absorbed and it's done.
And it's done.
So you have to have a steady hand. You have to be very good as far as rendering goes. This is a Vacaville area artist, so it's nice to have somebody in from the Vacaville area. And again, the colors are dynamic. It's elegantly presented. It's a beautiful addition to anybody's collection.
And the auction is on. That's fantastic to see. We're now at $250 on this piece. We're looking to take that up to its retail of $600. Several people are on the line for that piece right now as well. I love this. This is Stagecoach Reflections by Judy Lulus. This is a juror award this year for contemporary classics. And we're looking for actually we've already got a bid on this, if I'm not mistaken, at $263. Is that correct? $263. And so we are opening it up right now. Dee, take it away. Why this is a Jurors Award? This is a big deal.
This was a Jurors Award in the contemporary category, and that juror was Esteban Villa. And what he loved about this is he loved the fact that if you have ever been in the Wells Fargo building downtown, and this is one of the reasons
yeah, that is in there.
that Judy chose this, is that there's just something about the fact that they have a stagecoach inside. So you've got this vintage stagecoach in a very, very contemporary setting.
Well,
So
they have a beautiful Wells Fargo museum in that entire lobby.
And
But this
she
is the
sat there-
showstopper
yeah,
of that.
she sat there and sketched that piece. I love the way she's picked up the reflection down here, and she's used that pointillism, and I don't understand how artists do that, where they can use little dots, to make something look solid.
What did you call it?
Pointillism.
Pointillism.
There's your word of the day.
Did you make that up?
Pointillism. No, I didn't.
Okay.
It's a real word.
All right, so we're now at $300. We're looking for $350 with a retail value of $875. And as I'm watching the numbers on the other pieces in this California's Gold half hour, they are climbing quickly. We're at $250. We're looking for $300. 1844 KVIE Art. D. Look at the detail.
Again, this is a watercolor. So
Oh, I
again,
didn't
no
realize that.
mistakes. You can
I thought
make,
this was acrylic.
No, it's a watercolor. You can make no mistakes. So she's done an amazing job. I love the way that she's got almost this little painting going on in here.
Oh yeah.
She's got this really contemporary, if you just look at this part of the painting, the real contemporary skyscraper building in the background.
Yeah, that's on the Capitol Mall.
Yeah,
That's the building.
but if you walk by this, and it's so funny because when I first saw it, I knew exactly where it was.
I did too.
I was like, I've always loved that stagecoach.
right next to one of my favorite Italian
And
restaurants.
she's also a very well-known artist. She's won Best of Show at the State Fair, so she's been around for a while.
Up to 300. Let's get 350. 1844 KVIE Art is the phone number. We're at $300. We're looking to take that up to $350. And Dee, I did not realize it until you pointed it out that each of these are little dots on their own.
Of different colors, and then they kind of meld together and give you the idea of a color. So I love the fact that she's played that into, the reflection on the floor.
Oh, it's a shadow.
Yeah, see that you've got the.
Yeah.
Here's the tire. The
Yeah.
tire.
Want to point out,
It's a wheel.
this is an award-winning piece. So this would be your chance to take home an award-winning piece in the KVIE 2015 art auction, and it's a beautiful piece. Looking at it in person, and it shows just as beautifully on television.
And again, these are investment pieces that we're looking at as well. She is in many public collections. She's in the Kaiser. If you ever have to have surgery in the ambulatory surgery center at Kaiser, you can see some of her work. It's on display there all the time. But so she's in public collections. She's in many private collections. She donated 100% of this to the auction. She put her own frame on it. So, we need to honor her by getting her that retail price, because that's
All
what
right,
we need to
we
go.
are clear to move on to the next piece. We're at 300 on Stagecoach Reflections. This piece is one we're told not to say it, but I don't care. This is one of my favorite pieces.
Rob!
Because when you fly into Sacramento, this is what you see, and I travel so much. This is by Richard Stein, Rivers and Fields. This is what Sacramento looks like from the sky when you fly in. And look, I mean, I'm 6'2".
It's so California gold.
This is a big piece
This
of
is
art.
a big, beautiful piece. Richard Stein is an award winner here at the auction. He recently had an almost sold out show at the Tim Collin Gallery.
I believe it.
In Midtown. People are just nutty for his work. I wanted to start this first group off with some really strong pieces.
You did it.
And this is one of them. I love, love, love his work. One of the things I really like about the piece is we had a competition for the best frame design. And the best frame design guy wanted to pick this, but it wasn't done by a frame shop. The artist actually built the frame, and if you look in here, he's painted a little inlay in the same color as these fields right here. So it really pops the piece.
Right.
It allows the piece to float. It makes it feel like you're looking out that airplane window.
Okay, so I have to point out we're at $950, which is already overvalued there, and let's keep that going. David, we're going to go back over to you with the Birds of Paradise.
That's right. I'm here with item number 1C, Two Birds Beckoning. retail value of $600, and our current high bidder right now, $275. There's some action on it, but if you call in right now, you can keep this bidding going, and then maybe you can be the one who's going to get this piece. Call right now, 1-844-KVIE Art, and make it happen right now. Over to Rob.
All right, thank you so much, David. And there you see this beautiful piece. I love the colors in this piece. Boy, do they pop. We're at $950, which is above a bell ringer, but I will tell you this right now. The calls coming in, this could take it. There we go. We have a bell ringing, and it's $950, and that's coming from our phone bank over there. Dee, you said you wanted to really start off with a bold punch. This is the second bell ringer we have so far.
Yep, that means what a bell ringer means is you pay above the retail. It also means that becomes a tax deduction for you when the amount that you pay above that retail.
Okay.
So you're still supporting KVIE. The artists love it. I choose their best work. And I mean, they're so good because I go to studios and wrestle pieces away. You know, it would have been very easy.
All right, so look at your screen.
Oh, there he is, Kenny.
See right there? Okay.
That's Kenny.
That's Cowboy?
Cowbell Kenny.
Cowbell Kenny, okay.
And there he goes.
Look at that little thing. All right, now that's downright cute. All right, so see, you get to do that. You get to have a cowboy. What is it?
Cowbell Kenny.
Cowbell Kenny. Can we do it again? Just make it fly by there again. It's so darn cute.
Yeah, so when Cowbell Kenny goes by, that means we got the retail price and you got a little tax deduction. Meanwhile, you know, Richard gave us one of his largest pieces, and
That's
I mean, he
nice.
had just come off a sold-out show.
I really wanted
this. Was, you can't have it, Rob.
I know,
'cause you
we're
can't
not
bid.
eligible. I know.
Yeah.
$950. We're going to keep this one going because there is a lot of interest on this piece. It's beautiful. Richard Stein's Rivers and Fields, 1-844 KVIE
You can
Art
pick it up
is the
tomorrow.
phone number. Yeah, pick it up tomorrow, hang it tomorrow. And again, the number is different this year than it was last year. We wanted to streamline things, make them easier for you. 1-844 KVIE Art. D, plug the website again.
It's kvie.org/art auction. You can see every single piece that's going to be up tomorrow from noon to 10, and the
Or
next
tonight.
day from noon to 10, and later on tonight. So make your list. And I always suggest you call in about 3 or 4 minutes before your piece comes up, because we are going to be on a roll. We got 274 pieces to sell.
Woof. And I also understand that we have more new artists this year than ever before. Which
Yes,
is
we do.
Beyond fantastic.
And those new artists include seasoned artists that have been, 20-year professionals that have just given us their first piece.
How kind. Love that. Okay. 1F. Here we go. Popular Path. Linda Abbott. This is a juror award for still life and landscape. We have a bid of $300 right now, a retail value of $900. And look at that, how it sucks you right in to that beautiful pathway. You feel like you're walking right through there.
I love this piece. It was drawn on the canvas while she was there, and she said she had a really hard time. You know, there were bicyclists that went by and skateboarders that went by, but she kind of settled on this. I don't know if it's a father and a son.
Looks like it.
Yeah, but this little pair of people down here having a really solemn stroll through a really beautiful part of California.
I love when art literally sucks you in, takes you into a place. And I feel like this piece does, because I feel like when you look at it, you immediately are brought right in to the popular path that the artist Linda Abbott is talking about.
Well, she's very fond of eucalyptus trees, and there's so many of them in our area, so she looks for those places to paint. Again, she's done it plein air because she prefers painting in the natural light to painting in her studio, and that really comes through in here in that strong presence of light here, and then the darks and the shadows back in this area.
So you can tell a difference with plein air?
I can. I
Really?
think so, yeah. And there's just a way the artist approaches it, too. There's an urgency to the painting. There's a movement. You almost feel like it's a warm day or it's a cold day versus something in the studio that's more like a photograph.
I see. We're at $300 right now. We're looking to take this up to $350, and the phone number is 1-844 KVIE Art. By the way, an update on Rivers and Fields is up to $1,180. That bidding is still going. And the bidding is still going on Stagecoach Reflections. Okay, Popular Path. Let's get back to this one with Linda Abbott at $300. Dee, why did you want to end this half hour with this piece?
I like this piece because it's very tranquil and it's very meditative. And we went from the Richard's piece, which was bright and poppy and full of color,
big and
to
bold.
This kind of moody. This is one of those paintings you could walk by it every day and find something different in it.
I believe that. I see it now. I mean, I didn't even notice the bottom part here. I just noticed
I know, I
that
love
there is
these
a path.
strips. This was an award winner. It was chosen by our juror, Kathleen Stock, in the California Gold category.
Yep.
And which was, California Gold is one of our stiffest competitions. So there's only 4 jurors awards in that category.
Wow,
So
that's
again, I wanted to
fantastic.
start this half hour with some of our best and brightest.
We have a bid of $300 for this, and we're looking to take this up to $350 right now. It's still at just a third of its retail value. So stay tuned because there's more art coming up in the next half hour and all weekend and the KVIE art auction.
Crow Horwath is proud to support local arts in our region through the KVIE Art Auction. Crow Horwath, a proud supporter of KVIE Public Television.
KVIE is committed to the visual and performing arts through more than 500 hours of arts programming each year. From Downton Abbey to Poldark and Bob Ross to art in the 21st century, KVIE's commitment to the arts stays strong through your participation as a donor and an art buyer. Thank you for being part of the KVIE Art Auction and for making art a part of your home today. Bidding on items in the art auction is quick and easy to do. First, explore the collection online at kvie.org/art auction, or keep your television tuned to KVIE. When a piece of art catches your eye, call 1-844-KVIE-ART and a volunteer will assist you. KVIE accepts all major credit cards for your art purchase, and a member of our accounting team will confirm your payment within 5 minutes of item sale. Thank you for being part of the KVIE Art Auction and for making art a part of your home today.
Stay tuned for California's Gold, coming up next on the KVIE Art Auction. Juried by Maria Winkler, this category celebrates the beauty of California landscapes in all media.
I just have to say this, normally Fridays are slow, but we are going gangbusters tonight, and that is so exciting. Hello again, I'm Rob Stewart from Rob on the Road, and back for another half hour of the California's Gold section in the KVIE Art Auction. We have a noisy and rowdy phone bank, and I love it. And now let's take a look at the art that's up for bid in this next half hour. And it's really a special half hour. Starting with item 2A, you can see it right here, and now you see it full screen. It is by Michio
Watanabe.
Watanabe. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
you're
You'll see
welcome.
our art expert here in a minute, and you'll see why I'm having him help me with some of the names. It's photography measuring 16 by 20. It is absolutely beautiful. Item 2B, 3 Trees 9 by Laurie Winters. This is acrylic on canvas. We just had this artist, by the way, in our lobby on exhibit, and it was wonderful. The KVIE Murphy Austin Gallery, and it was beautiful, measuring at 30 by 40. Archival Framing did this. It retails at $1,200, and it is huge. Item 2C is the Tower Bridge. Look at that. By Margarita Rivera. This is oil on canvas measuring 16 by 20. This is a beautiful piece. The artist framed it. The retail value is $400. Item 2D, Sacramento Sparkle. Just soak that in. By George Lambert. This is acrylic on canvas measuring 16 by 20. Skyline 1 framing. Retail value is $600. This is a juror award in the California's Gold section. So this right here is an award-winning piece. Item 2E is the Ride Hotel, and it's by Vance Vasu. This is acrylic on canvas measuring 16 by 20. The retail value is $600. Just wait till we get over there and you see that one up close. It's shocking. And then item 2F is Mendocino Headlands. Absolutely beautiful by Nina Thompson, somewhere we have taken Rob on the road to before. It's so beautiful. This is pastels measuring 18 by 24. Archival Framing did this one as well. The retail value is $650. Now, during this break, I'm so pleased to be joined by internationally known watercolorist, art instructor, past art auction juror, and longtime contributing artist, and just downright great guy who has a lobby, our lobby, filled with your beautiful works. David Lobenberg, good to see you, David. Thanks
Same
for
here.
being
Pleasure
here.
to be with you.
And thank you for my new portrait that you just did.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Very nice. Okay, let's get right to this piece. What do you see here that catches your eye as an art expert?
Okay, the title is Blooming Sunshine. And indeed, Michio's done a phenomenal job in capturing the bright, bright light. She took this just as the sun was at its brightest, hitting these California poppies. And what I like about this photograph is the dramatic depth of field. If you can see right here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 poppies that are extremely high focus. It feels like you can reach out and touch them, but then after that, everything goes out of focus as you go further into the background. So you got this sense of depth, and as these flowers go out of focus, can you see that glow?
You can.
It's
And this
wonderful.
is so fitting that it's in the California's Gold category. I have to tell you, I did not realize this was a photograph.
Yes, and it looks like it's printed on a photographic canvas. It's wrapped around a frame, and it doesn't really, you can put this right on the wall as is. It's got that much of a presence, and especially with that wraparound, it's quite beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful. Now, you're known for many different types, for watercolor, you've
Right.
done all different types, but in a way, this almost looks like a watercolor.
It does, and again, I think it's because of that depth of field. You know, when most of us take our photographs with our cameras, everything's in focus. The foreground's in focus, the background's in focus. But she has photographed this in such a way, and she probably used a professional camera. She can open up the f-stop on the camera, and what that will do, it will focus in the front and let everything go soft in the back. That's what makes it so dramatic, and especially with this beautiful dark background.
Well, it's resonating with people who are calling in.
Great.
Because we're at $200. We have a retail of $300. Let's check in with our phone bank right now and see how things are going over there.
Downton Abbey, Poldark, Sherlock, no matter which one is your favorite, there's something for everybody. And that's possible when you call in and bid on a piece of local art supporting KVIE Public Television. The phone number is 844-KVIE-ART, 844-584-3278. We're surrounded by a great phone bank, Hewlett-Packard. They want to take your call right now. Support local public television by bidding on local art by local artists. Let's go back to Rob. Rob?
All right, we're at $200 on this beautiful piece, trying to get this up to the retail value of $300. This beautiful, beautiful photograph. And do you know this artist?
No, I don't, but I've been looking at her art. I was here at the gallery a few days ago, and
On Monday night at the gala?
no, after the gala. I couldn't make the gala, but I came after because I like to see the art live, and it just stuck out. I mean, it is so glowing with the bright colors, the brilliant orange and yellows. I mean, it bespeaks of sunlight, California.
Well, and I would also like to say that if you have a loved one who has moved away from California, poppies are so California, right? They are
Right.
quintessential California. And this says California when you look at it. It's why it's in the California's Gold segment. And it is absolutely beautiful to call 1-800-584-3278 or 1-844-KVIE-ART. That piece at $200, and we are going to go ahead and move on over to this next piece. This is huge, and I love this artist. This is 2B. It's 3 Trees 9 by Laurie Winters. This is acrylic on canvas. It's a big piece, 30 by 40. Archival Framing did this. It's retailed at $1,200. The phones are ringing already on this one. We're at $360 right now. And tell me what you think about this first glance. What strikes you the most?
Well, the first glance, it bespeaks of the Sacramento-San Joaquin Valley. Laurie Winters has been at this for a long time. She's highly collectible. If you hear the phones ringing, that's the reason why. So this painting shows she loves to depict the expanse of our flat valley floor and the combination, the meeting of the farmland and the sky. And what I like, and then she always has her signature off in the horizon. She usually has a few trees. In this case, she has 3 trees.
And we're at $360 right now.
Great,
we're
great.
Looking to take this up to $400, but still the retail value is at $1,200. She just had a lobby full of art here and it was incredibly popular.
Yes, and she sells very well. I have no doubt we're going to go beyond 400 easily. The other thing I like about her is she, an artist who has as much experience as she does knows how to use color, and knows how to use color in a very subtle way sometimes.
This is subtle. If you look along the lines here, it actually is very subtle there.
I like this dry brush effect. It really accentuates where the land meets the sky. In other words, the horizon, and that flat horizon that we're all used to. And the other thing I like are the beautiful colors. If the camera can get in close, especially right here, you see blues and pinks and whites and the softer yellows. She is very good with colors, and the people that collect her art, they know that, they see that.
Well, you see that. See, I have just been loving lately the California skies. You've been seeing a lot of pinks. Granted, the reason we're seeing some of those aren't pleasant, but you've been seeing a lot of pinks in the skies, and you see that here in this as well.
Yes.
Okay, let's check in with the phone bank, see what's going on over there, David.
Hey, thanks, Rob. I'm with item number 2A called Blooming Sunshines. And as you can see, it's the amazing poppies, the state flower. And of course, this is the California's Gold Hour. And what more could be California's gold than the poppies? We have a beautiful picture at the station of Huell Hauser in the poppies. He would have loved this piece. And I know a few of you love it too because you're bidding on it. We have a high bid right now, $375, but there's still time for you to get in on the action. Back to you, Rob.
Yeah, that's great. That means we're already at a bell ringer on that other one over there. So 3 trees, 9, retails $1,200. We're at $360 right now for this beautiful piece. It is framed. The frame is absolutely gorgeous. It was framed by Archival Framing. And I really just feel like when you're driving down 99, when you're driving down 5,
Exactly.
it just takes you there. What you being a painter's painter, I've called you that in the interview I did with you in your studio at Studio L. You're a painter's painter. How would you compliment this?
Again, the way I love minimal art, so I like minimal art. She's just capturing the vast expanse of the valley floor with some greenery in the foreground. I like the dry brush effect that accentuates that flat, sweeping horizon, and the colors, the subtle colors in the sky and both in the greens. Look, we've got blues. We've got some warm red colors, even right down to these little dots of color. They all come together. Sometimes with art, the devil's in the details, and she's putting it all together.
We have an auction going because I'm watching the screen. It just jumped from 360 to 400 to 450 to 475. Now 500. We're calling for 550. We're going to move on because the battle's taking place on that one. And we can move on to this next beautiful piece. I absolutely love the Tower Bridge. It's one of my favorite things in Sacramento, and it happens to be right here in front of us right now, live from the KVIE Art Auction Studio, which, by the way, this is Northern California's largest television studio, and we are in it right now, and it's filled with art. I love it. This is item 2C if you're following along, Tower Bridge, and it's oil on canvas. It measures 16 by 20, and we are looking for a starting bid at $120. What do you see?
Well, what I like that Margarita Rivera has done to this, again, like the previous piece, it's less about detail. Sometimes we like detail in our art, but this, she's taking out detail. In fact, what we call it in the art world is she's abstracting out detail. And what she's bringing forth, look at the glow of light coming through the bridge here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've never heard what you just said.
Very important.
That's important. It's taking out some of the detail.
Yes.
That's a very interesting perspective, and I love the view of this. I think that the view of this is from Sacramento over to West Sacramento. Is that
You know what? You might be right. It looks like a ziggurat here.
Right there, yeah. So, but I'm not quite sure. At first, I thought it was the other way, but
I know.
regardless,
that's a good question.
it's absolutely beautiful, and it's so iconic, Sacramento.
Right, yes. That's one of our most iconic pieces of architecture. It's a Tower Bridge.
Now, we are looking for a starting bid of $120 on this beautiful piece, the Tower Bridge. It is framed stunningly beautifully as well, and it was framed by the artist. Let's go back over to the phone bank and check in.
Hewlett-Packard is the phone bank. The phone number is 844-KVIE-ART. That's 844-584-3278. And they can't wait to take your phone call. Bid on some local art, support local public television, KVIE. And when you do, that's over 500 hours of arts programming every year that you're supporting for you and your family. Other programs like Nova, Nature, and Frontline. And we're going to go back over to Rob. Rob?
All righty, thank you so much. So we're looking for a $120 opening bid on this beautiful Tower Bridge piece. And I have to say this, that the frame would cost more than that.
Yes.
and you know that as an artist yourself.
Yes.
What is striking you about the skies here? I've always heard blue is hard.
Blue is hard. In fact, I talked to Gregory Kondo several years ago, and he said that the hardest part of his paintings are the blues.
Mm-hmm. And his blues are Mediterranean blues, he told me.
Yes. And that's what I liked about Lori Winters. That's what I like about this. The artist has taken a small brush, I don't know if it was a filbert or round brush, and has broken it up into yellows and blues and whites. Impressionistic style.
I didn't even notice that.
Yes, and that's what the Impressionists did. Instead of flat colors, they broke it up into, and a lot of times into complementary colors. We even have some very subtle reds in this sky. It warms up the sky. So these colors mix in the eye and creates this vibration, this sparkle, and we'll talk about that on the next painting too.
Nice tease by the way.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, we're going to jump over to the phone bank because something big is happening with 3 Trees 9. Dee?
I wanted to talk about this beautiful piece by Lori Winters. This piece was featured in our KVIE gallery. KVIE has a fine art gallery located in our lobby that's open Monday through Friday during regular business hours. We also hold a reception for the artist every 2 months. Lori was one of our first shows. This was the largest piece in the gallery. When you buy a piece from the KVIE art gallery, it directly benefits KVIE. You can see the gallery online at kvie.org/arts or just stop by and visit. Let's go back and see Rob.
All right, thank you, Dee. That's a beautiful painting you're standing next to, and so is this one. Look at this juror award in the California's Gold category by George Lambert. It's the Sacramento Sparkle, another version of the Tower Bridge. This one is a stunner. We have a bid for $250. The value is at $600. David, what catches your eye immediately? What draws you to this?
Well, I just think this is a glorious painting. And what captures my eye are the bright colors, especially the gold on our Tower Bridge, the reflection of the gold in the river. And, you know, look at all of the colors mixing together. Again, impressionistic style. the Impressionists and George, he wasn't interested in detailing the bridge. He wasn't interested in getting, the correct numbers of windows in the buildings. What he was capturing is the light.
The sparkle.
The sparkling,
Just like the name.
vibrating light. That's what it's all about. And he did this. He's also got rain clouds, which we're hoping for this winter, in the background.
Yeah.
It's like the clouds have parted. You see some clouds here and some rain coming down, and the light's hitting our beautiful city, and it is sparkling.
Do you know what I love about this right now?
What's that?
Is that Sacramento is sparkling right now. We got a lot going on.
We do.
You know?
Yeah, oh, yes.
And this piece is reflective of what's happening right now in this vibrant city.
Yes, yes.
And I love how you said that you really can't tell what's what, but you certainly know it's Sacramento.
Exactly. There's enough information here to tell you, oh, it's a Tower Bridge, it's our skyline, we got a rainy sky, but guess what? The city's being lit up by the sun that's come through the clouds, and it is clean and crisp and sparkling.
$375. Call 1-844-KVIE Art if you would like to get in on the auction. The pieces are just stunning. We have a bid right now of $375. And as I look at our phone bank, we've got a lot of people on the phone. Let's get this up to 400. Guess what we just did? 400. Let's go to 425. We're at 425.
Great, great.
I love seeing this. 450.
All right.
All right, let's take it up to 500. Can we get 500 for this? For Sacramento Sparkle? Can we take this to a live auction and go ahead and get this up to 600? There's 500.
Okay.
All right, 550. This represents our region, folks. The Sacramento Sparkle is what's happening in our area right now. The city is shining, and it's shining right now on this beautiful painting.
And
525.
And the artist did, pardon me, I think, a sparkling job on this, too.
Look at you. Look
Yeah,
at you.
I know.
Good job.
But it is. I mean it. It's beautiful.
All right, we're at 550. Let's go to the phone bank.
844 KVIE Art. Are you one of the people making these phones rings? Because they're ringing off the hook. I hope you're one of them. Hewlett-Packard is here ready to take your phone calls. They are excited. They are ready for you. 844 KVIE Art. You're supporting local public television when you bid on local art by local artists. That's over 500 hours of arts programming every year, and local programs like Rob on the Road, Viewfinder Studios Sacramento. Yes, we're open. And yes, we're open here right now on the phone bank, waiting for you to call. 1-844-KVIE Art, 844-584-3278. We're going back to Rob. Rob?
Boy, Sacramento Sparkle is just sparkling. It jumped up to 700, so it's above the $600 retail value. We love seeing that happen. Let's move on to this beautiful piece, 2E. It's the Ride Hotel. Just soak this in for a minute. By Vance Vasu. This is an acrylic on canvas. It's a great size, 16 by 20. And once we come to this piece live in the studio, you're gonna see the technique that was done on this. It is so cool.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how else to put it. It's just so cool. We're looking for a starting bid at $180. And when we zoom in here, I want to show this technique. What is this called?
The artist has laid down the paint with a brush, almost kind of pushing it on very, very thickly.
Oh, so it's just thick paint.
And it's called, the art word for this is called impasto.
Say it again.
Impasto.
Okay.
It's an Italian word, and I don't know the exact translation, but it means
Thick
it's
paint.
raised up from the canvas, thick, thick paint.
Okay. It's beautiful.
And then on top of that, the colors are incredible.
This one, okay, this studio is huge, all right? We were on the other side of the studio, and I could see this one all the way across the studio. And the amount of the different colors in this piece are spectacular. And we're just looking for an opening bid of $180 and the frame, which is absolutely beautiful as well.
I'm predicting this is going to go up too.
I am too. I think people are studying it right now.
And whoever ends up with this in their home, as soon as people walk in, as soon as they walk in, they're going to go to that and they go, oh, I'm so glad I purchased that. It is a stunner.
This is one of those pieces that I think is a nice entryway piece.
Yes.
When you go into a home, because I love conversation pieces. At first, I actually thought this was maybe something in Clarksburg, you know, that there's just so many different things in our area that this looks like. But this is the Ride Hotel, and it is
Yes.
absolutely spectacular.
Yes.
All we're looking for is $180 for an opening bid. That's it. And it's worth $600 at a minimum. 1-844-KVIE-ART is the phone number to get involved. And as you look closely at this, the amount of color, just look at that.
I think that's getting across the idea. You can see how it's been layered on and very thick. You run your hand over this. And
I
not
wanted to, but we can't.
We can't do that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make just a big deal about that it's thick paint, which is wonderful in itself. The colors are so bright. And you can get colors like that, especially in acrylic.
I love it.
Very bright color.
All right, let's check back in with the phone bank and our general manager, David Lowe.
Every winning bid helps make sure that you get to enjoy the programs that you love on KVIE. So if you haven't called in yet or you haven't won, keep trying. 1-844-KVIE-ART. It gets you in on the bidding. And if you haven't seen what you love yet, guess what? It's coming up next because we have so many pieces to go. Item number 2D, it's still available right now. High bid of $775. Item number 2E, Ride Hotel, we're looking at $180, gets you in on the action. And then item number 2F, Mendocino Headlands, has a retail of $650. You can get in for $275 right now. Back to Rob.
I just get so excited during the KVIE art auction. I cannot stand it, and I'm so excited that we have 2 more days of this,
Yeah,
David.
it's great,
I mean, it's
great.
just piece after piece after piece. Okay, I'm blessed to travel this state for my job. Mendocino Headlands, one of the prettiest things I've seen, and look at it now. This really captures it. $275, we have a bid right now. We're looking for $650 rather, as this piece captures the beautiful Mendocino Headlands. Tell me what you think about it.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. That's an often used word, capture, but it does capture the feeling, the emotion, the serenity that we get in an environment like this. And again, this is pastel. It's been layered on bit by bit. She's built up the colors. We've got this strong image and flow of the headlands coming in, meeting the Pacific Ocean. I love the background here. I love the soft background with this line of fog coming here.
Oh yeah, I didn't even notice that. That's why I love talking to an art expert, because you pick out things that I don't even see. I feel it,
but
you see it.
Yes, yes. The other thing I see is we've got fairly subdued colors throughout this, which I like because, again, it's all about that cool Pacific Northern California coast that we especially like when we travel from, hot Sacramento during the summer. But then you've got these beautiful, warm, I don't know, they could be poppies, I'm not sure.
I thought they
very
were.
delicately running across the foreground, and I think she took her finger or maybe a Q-tip and she smudged it a little. You can see right here.
Oh yeah.
And she's blurred it a little. So it gives the effect of these moving very gently in the sea breeze. That's the other thing I like about it,
Yeah.
right there.
I absolutely love that. And it's such a beautiful place, and I know that so many people have wonderful memories of this place and this location. And what a great way to keep that memory alive in your home forever than to call right now, 1-844-KVIE-ART. You can pick it up tomorrow and take it home. We have a bid now of $275, and we're looking for another bid of $300. The value is at $650. The frame is absolutely beautiful. This done by Archival Framing. We're going to come back to you in a second. We're going to go over to David for a minute for an update.
Thanks, Rob. I'm here right now with item number 2E, Ride Hotel. This piece has so much texture on it. Has a retail value of $600. High bid right now of just $275. So if you've been thinking, hey, do I want this piece? The answer is actually, yes, you do. Call 1-844-KVIE-ART, and you will be the next high bidder for the Ride Hotel piece of art. Now back to Rob.
That picture, I mean, that painting, David, is so beautiful.
It is absolutely, I love it.
It's exquisite. And so is this one, $275. We're looking for $300 for Mendocino Headlands, some of the most beautiful coastal areas that we have in this world are in California.
Yes, exactly. And I think Nina has done it well. I'm looking at it, I'm saying this is a very accomplished pastel artist.
And you don't give thoughts compliments.
I never do that.
I know you don't.
No.
So, I mean, for you to say that this is good, it's good.
Yes, yes, yes.
I love it.
I love the ocean spray here, too. We've got one here and one here. I love the highlights. Look at these bright highlights of the water. Again, it's not flat. It's got subtle value contrast, both
beautiful.
in the water, in the sky, and in the headlands.
All right.
Very beautiful.
Thank you so much, David.
You're
Stay
welcome.
tuned, because there's much more art coming up in the next half hour right here in the KVIE Art Auction. Good job, David.
Welcome to the 34th Annual KVIE Art Auction. Join us all weekend for a celebration of local and regional visual arts. Over 250 pieces will be auctioned off to the highest bidder, and you can be part of the action by watching and bidding on your favorite pieces. View the entire collection online at kvie.org/artauction. Then when your favorite item appears, call 1-844-KVIE-ART to place your bid. 100% of the auction proceeds benefit the programs and services of your local PBS station, KVIE. So thank you for watching and bidding. And now, let the auction begin. Picking up your purchased art is quick and easy to do. Visit KVIE Studios Saturday through Tuesday during these posted hours to claim your art. Or if you need your art shipped, be sure to tell our accounting staff when they call to confirm payment on your item. All purchased art must be claimed within 30 days of auction closure. For questions, location, and hours, visit kvie.org/artauction.
Stay tuned for a special themed collection coming up next on the KVIE Art Auction. Themed galleries allow collectors to purchase art that share a common theme, regardless of medium or style.
Well, hello there. Welcome to the 2015 KVIE Art Auction. We're having great fun live in the studio. I'm Kevin Smith-Fagan, and over the next half hour, you will have the opportunity to bid on and buy original works of art graciously donated, all donated by Northern California artists, with all proceeds benefiting the arts mission of your local PBS station. That would be this one, KVIE Public Television. And I do want to take a moment and thank Crow Horwath. This portion of the art auction is sponsored by Crow Horwath. We would like to thank them for their commitment to supporting the arts here on KVIE. Now, let's take a look at the art that is up for bid in this next half hour. The first piece that we're going to be looking at is item 3A. It's called Full Blooming Amaryllis by Patricia Toole McHugh. It's a watercolor measuring 20 inches by 14 inches, framed by archival framing, with a retail value of $575. Then we'll move on to item 3B, Pajaro Dunes by Wanda Avery. This lovely watercolor measures 23.5 inches by 29 inches with a retail value of $450. Then will be item 3C, Hello Hibiscus. The artist is Joyce Wilson. It's a watercolor measuring 15 inches by 27.5 inches, framed by the artist with a retail value of $300. Item 3D is Fire Along the Snake by Doug Souza. This is watercolor measuring 22 inches by 30 inches, framed by the artist with a retail value of $800. Item 3E is Cypress Shadows by Diane Pargament. This watercolor measures 24 inches by 18 inches, framed by the artist, and with a retail value of $400. And then finally, we'll wrap up the half hour with item 3F. You see it right there. It's called Suitcases of Downton Abbey by the artist Sharon Gerber. This watercolor measures 17 inches by 20 inches, framed by the artist, with a retail value of $700. Now, during this break, we are so pleased to be joined again by David Lobenberg. David, welcome back.
Thank you.
So much for being here. You are, of course, a longtime contributing artist to the auction, a past juror, and an art instructor as well. So thank you for sharing your wealth of expertise with us. Should we get right to it?
Let's get right to it.
All right, 3A, we are standing alongside full blooming amaryllis. The artist, as I mentioned, Patricia Toole McHugh. We are looking right now for an opening bid. The retail value you see on your screen is $575. David, as soon as you look at it, what catches your eye?
What catches my eye with what Patricia has done here is the elegant contours of the amaryllis, the green parts coming up, and then of course the beautiful contours of the flowers themselves. And then I like the very subtle, to me this is almost like one of those elegant 19th century botanical illustrations. And I love the frame that goes around it. That kind of backs up that feeling. And it's got a very soft, sophisticated style.
Well, it does, and it looks and it feels dainty. There is an elegance, as you mentioned.
Good. I like that.
I'm sneaking a peek at the screen. We're looking right now for an opening bid of $175 on this piece. So please call in right now. Be generous with your support as the camera pans across. It's giving folks at home a great view of the intricacy of her work, isn't it, David?
Yes, and again, and I like your word dainty. It's a very beautiful watercolor with this beautiful blush of pinks and reds and this light green. I love the highlight on this part and the highlights over here. And again, the delicate contours of the flowers. It's just got, and it's got that 19th century botanical feel. I can see it in a home with maybe soft colors on the walls. It would fit in perfectly.
It's a gorgeous piece. We want to hear from you right now. I'm going to send it over to the phone bank, where I believe I see Sharon Gerber and Dee Neath, I think. Let's see who's over there.
I am here with Miss Sharon Gerber, who is one of our participating artists this year and a former board member.
Yes,
She's
I am.
here to help us in the phone bank, and she's going to help us update on some of the things that are coming up.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Dee. Yes, this is my 6th or 7th year being in the camera business here for the art auction. I'm delighted, and I'm here with our volunteers from Hewlett-Packard, from HP, and they're waiting for your calls. So we have a wonderful half hour, and we've started with 3A, the full blooming amaryllis. So we have a high bid currently of $275 with a retail value of $575. So we are looking for your bids, and we're going right back to Kevin now.
All right, thank you so much. We are now at 300 of the high bid on this lovely piece. So 350, let's see the next bid coming at 350 on our way to that retail value of at least $575. It's worth taking a moment to remind you at home that when the art is donated free and clear, and when the artist donates that piece, it is their intention that the money that is the retail value at least end up at KVIE to support this mission. So please be generous with your bids. David, looking back at the piece, one of the things that I noticed right away is that she chose to have no backdrop. It's just that clean white. What does that do to the figures?
Well, again, you're doing very good.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. It's clean. I often do this with my watercolors. White is very important with watercolor, and it gives the subject a beautiful crispness, and that's what I like about it. So, and a lot of those 19th century botanical drawings, it focuses on the object and not anything else. That's what that white does.
Beauty and simplicity. This is a great example. So if you could use some beauty and some simplicity in your life, this might be the piece for you. The high bid right now is $350. Come on in. Dial the number on your screen, bid 400. Let's get ourselves up towards seeing Kenny fly in and get a bell ringer on this thing. A very exciting moment when we hit that retail value. And we are going to move on shortly to item 3B. But before we head out, I just want to mention, David, the lovely frame that adds to the classiness.
It really does add to the class, yes.
It does indeed. All right, as the bidding continues on 3A, we move on to item 3B. It's called Pajaro Dunes. The artist is Wanda Avery. It's got a retail value of $450, so we're looking for an opening bid of $135, and when you do call in and bid, you'll be bidding on a lovely 23.5 by 29-inch piece. David, What catches your eye?
Well, what catches my eye with this, and I've said it about some previous art, is it's the cypress trees that we're all familiar with in California and the beach, and it's all about simplicity. It's painting more with less. She's abstracting out a lot of the detail, and we end up with these beautiful shapes of the canopy of the cypress, the rolling beach. I think she's taken either her brush or maybe even a toothbrush. I've done this myself, and she's done some beautiful, subtle splattering detail in the foreground. She's got that little bit of texture, and then I like the cypress in the background here, bringing out the negative shapes or the white shapes of the picket fence going across.
You know, if you love the Monterey Bay area, as so many of us in this region do, one of the jewels of Northern California, of course, this Pajaro Dunes is situated facing Monterey Bay, about halfway between Santa Cruz and Monterey. So if you love that part of the country, if that has meaning for you or you know someone for whom it has meaning, why not make this either yours or make a great gift of it at just a $135 opening bid. That's what we're looking for right now. And it's a big piece, David.
It is a large piece. It's double matted, and it's got a very simple gold frame that really captures the colors we have in the foreground on the beach. And again, I like it when you know, you can always take a photograph of this, and photographs can be, there are good photographs and then there are incredible photographs like the poppies we saw. But I like it when an artist will take something and they'll boil it down into its simplicity, almost like a haiku poem.
All right, David, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. I'm going to send it on over to the phone bank and see what's the news.
Oh, hi, we're back over here at the phone bank with our Hewlett-Packard volunteers. And, well, we're needing some phone to be ringing here, so we need all of you to give us a call. Now, we have a new number this year, 1-844-KVIE-ART. And then just to recap a little bit, let's see, we're at 3B now, Pajaro Dunes, and we have a high bid of $150. It's a retail value of $450, so there's plenty of room for you to go up. And we're really excited to be here tonight, and Kevin's got another piece to talk about. Or I think we're going back to Pajaro Dunes.
All right, indeed we are. We have right now a high bid of $150, which is terrific. Thank you to the bidder who phoned in. We're on our way, I hope, to $450 or more, which is the artist's retail value. David, great art makes you feel something.
Yes, and I've talked about that. It does.
When you look at this one, how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel peaceful. It makes me feel serene, relaxed. And again, I think it's because she's distilled this scene that we see when we go to the area to its bare essentials. Like I said, it's like a haiku poem. Haiku poem does the same thing. It makes you centered and relaxed.
Well, I heard a phone ring. That is terrific news for the fundraising effort right here. We've got a high bid of $175.
Good.
But let's get some more people jumping in. Look, we're raising money for public television. Every dollar of this weekend's art auction goes to support the programs that you love right here on KVIE. And so let's get everybody who loves the KVIE programming on the phone. You're bidding on wonderful art that you can call your own and supporting the important mission of public television delivered to you every hour of every day of the year right here on KVIE. So we have moved on, as we must keep our appointed rounds, David, to item 3C. This one is titled Hello Hibiscus by the artist Joyce Wilson. Of course, in this half hour, it's going to be a watercolor.
Right.
It's 15 inches wide and vertically oriented at 27.5 inches tall. She framed it for us, which is a great donation. Thank you. It's got a retail value of $300. David, tell us about it.
Okay, well, again, we're talking about emotion. When I look at this, it's a happy sophistication. And the way Joyce has painted this, well, it's very unusual. First of all, she used a chopstick. You dip the tip in ink, and you start to draw. She does these wonderful contour lines. But notice how...
With literally, this is not an artistic term. She is literally using a chopstick.
She is literally using a chopstick.
Wow.
So you start out with a lot of ink, and as you draw the line down, the ink starts to wear out, and the line gets very elegant and thin and broken. So it gives the line what we call a beautiful character. You know, it's like looking in an old person's face, maybe my face. It's got character. And then the other thing that she did is she used, it's called a masking liquid. It's kind of this rubbery substance, and it will dry. And she then wet the entire piece of paper. This is the beauty of watercolor. And she charged in these subtle pinks, lavenders, blues, and greens.
It's quite gorgeous. And you know what else is quite gorgeous?
What's that?
When people call in and bid.
Yes.
Right now we're looking for an opening bid of just $90 on this lovely, delicate, very nuanced piece. So please support public television. You see the number on your screen, 844 KVIE Art. Be generous when you call in with your bid. And David, let's talk more about the nuancing, because one of the strengths of this piece is the subtlety.
Yeah, so she did wet on wet. She charged it in. When you have wet paper and you put in a juicy watercolor, it flows, it mixes, and when it dries, it's very elegantly soft. And then she took this masking fluid off. There is something called a rubber cement pickup. The masking fluid, another word for it is rubber cement. She took that off, and she's left with the pure white of the paper. So there's a pop. There's that crisp white, and we talked about that with the previous one, and then this subtle, nuanced background. And then she painted the final touches on top of the flower with the pinks, the lavenders, and the yellow.
Now's the time to call. Get on the phone. I'm going to send it over to the phone bank right now and see what they've got cooking.
All right, thank you so much, Kevin. And we are here live in the phone bank. You know, it takes a village to put this whole thing together. And we have two lovely volunteers right here, right now, tonight, that gave of their time. Makeup artist and stylist. Tell us your names and where you're from and why you wanted to do this.
Hi, my name is Mahogany. I'm from actually Sonoma County. I work at MAC Cosmetics, and I wanted to do this because I love the community. I love KVIE. I did this last year, and I wanted to come back because it was so much fun.
You're at the Arden Mac. I've seen you there.
Yes.
Yeah. And tell me about yourself.
My name's Lauren. I work for Cutloose Hair Design in Carmichael, and I just wanted to give back to the community.
And you're doing all of this for free.
Yes, all for free.
Oh, that's so awesome. And I also want to give a big shout out to S. Benson and Company. They're on 8th Street in Sacramento, in East Sacramento. They dressed me for the entire weekend. How kind of them. So it takes a village to put this all together, and it takes your part too. So get involved in the auction. Kevin, we're going back over to you.
Lauren, thank you for being with us. Mahogany, thank you. Rob, of course, thank you. David and I have moved on to a piece that just blew my face off the first time I saw it. It's Fire Along the Snake. The artist is Doug Souza. It's 22 inches by 30 inches, so it's good size, framed by the artist, has a retail value of $800. Right now we're looking for an opening bid, I believe, at $240. And David, after those soft, gentle, serene, peaceful watercolors we were looking at, this is at the other end of the spectrum.
This is very dramatic. This almost reminds me of stage lighting. The curtain parts, we've got a dramatic dark background. By the way, he did this also wet on wet with a color called Payne's Gray, a very rich gray. He layered that on and made it very deep and rich. He protected this area with masking fluid like the previous one, but then when this is all dried, he took the masking fluid off, and then he put in these beautiful, fiery, bright colors of the shoreline foliage.
And I'm sneaking peeks at the monitor just to see how those colors, they just leap out at you. It's so bold, it's dramatic. In the foreground are the boaters who are observing this wildfire along the Snake River, and it just makes you feel like you're right there, huh?
Right, and he also said in this area, I think it was around Yellowstone and Utah area, you know, these are canyon rivers, and the canyon walls are made up of dark rocks. So that's what inspired him. And then I also like this this little focal point of bright, bright red on the fishing boat.
Yeah, it's terrific.
Very dramatic.
So let's hear from you. Call in. We're looking for that opening bid I mentioned at $250. Meantime, I'm going to toss it over to Sharon and Dee in the phone bank.
We are back here in the phone bank, and I just love this piece that's up right now. It's Fire Along the Snake. We have a bid of $240. We need a starting bid of $240. It's an amazing watercolor. And I wanted to ask Sharon, because she's a watercolorist, what makes it so hard to do watercolor?
Well, it's interesting because everyone tells me that watercolor is the most challenging of mediums. And I think the biggest reason is you have to really plan your painting in advance. This is not like an acrylic or oil where you can paint over your errors. You have to really understand what you want to paint, figure out your colors, and then go for it. There's no really going back.
So it's more of a technical thing. Once you get that tree done, that's the way the tree looks.
Exactly. And then there's also the whole control of water and paint. It's very difficult.
Well, let's see this beautiful watercolor right now and hear some more about it from David Lobenberg.
All right, thanks to the both of you. David, as they were talking, I motioned over to you, the power. It's so bold, isn't it?
It is. And what accentuates that boldness, what I like, it's got a beautiful double matte frame that's picking up the cool colors, which of course accentuates this fiery, tableau of trees. And then it's got this incredible organic frame around it with this almost like pebbly stone texture. I love the framing. The whole thing goes together to just bring out the drama on this.
If you love that beautiful wild part of our country, if you love public television, if you love the colors, pick up the phone right now. Be generous in supporting the mission of this organization, KVIE Public Television, and become the high bidder at $250 on a tremendous piece of art that, on a wall, it just jumps right out at you, doesn't it?
It really does, and it's a large size too. So if it goes into a corporate setting or a home, it will be a very beautiful focal point.
All right, well, we've got that $250 bid. We're now looking for a $300 bid, so please call in.
Good.
You can become the next high bidder. In the meantime, David and I are going to step on to the next item up for bid in the KVIE art auction. It's item 3E as in Edward, Cypress Shadows by the artist Diane Pargament. This watercolor measures 24 inches by 18 inches, and Diane framed it, which was wonderful of her to do. The retail value is $400. And David, it just telescopes you right in, doesn't it?
Another good word, telescopes.
Am I stealing all the good words?
You're stealing my thunder.
My apology.
No, really, I mean, who doesn't like a path? I did a series of watercolors that were paths. It really draws you in. And what I like about this path, the way she painted it, was the dappled light going across. Again, it creates this relaxed, serene feeling, and it takes your eye right up to the couple here that are just about ready to enter bright sunlight.
It's so neat to see the camera slowly panning up, just as if you're strolling on that little pathway. Right now we are looking for an opening bid, I believe, of $120 on this lovely, lovely piece. And there the camera has arrived at the duo down at the far end of the path. And I take it to be an embrace.
Yes, there you go. I think so. And I love the way they're backlit. It's so dramatic again. And the dark color right up here, just before you get to the figures, really enhances that drama of the couple. Embraced hand in hand, whatever. It's very romantic.
It's a piece that transports you. I mean, you really
does.
Do feel like you're there. And that place, there, is peaceful and with a slight breeze, and it's a pleasant day. All it takes is a bid of $120 to make you the high bidder. Why not pick up the phone, call in? We're having a great time live here at the art auction. The studio is full of energies. We've got lots of people on the phone bank, and I think we ought to go over there and see what's going on over there. So I'm going to toss it.
I am standing here along Fire Along the Snake. It has a current bid of $420. It has a retail of $800. This is a beautiful painting. I am a fisherman. I have a house up in Dunsmuir. This needs to be in somebody's fishing cabin. You've got this beautiful little vignette right here of the fisherman. And if you've ever sat out on a river or a lake when the sun was setting and everything just looks like it's on fire, it just reminds me of those perfect fishing days. So if you know somebody who's a fisherman, what a great gift, what a great piece to put up in your vacation home. Right now we have a bid of $425. I'd like to see it get to $800. The artist did a beautiful job framing it. It's under non-glare glass, so you really get to see the piece. And again, just a beautiful piece, needs to be in your home. Call us now. Let's go back to Kevin.
Thanks, Dee. We are here with Cypress Shadows, and there's a whole lot to admire about this piece. But one of the things that strikes me, David, is the use of geometry. Talk about the composition.
Yeah, what I like about the composition is, again, I like the path cutting through the center, but then the verticality of the trees. I like that. I like that upward motion. It's almost like it gives you that upward spirit again of serenity, and especially the upward spirit of the light cutting through these vertical, in between these vertical trees, and making this dappling on the foliage on either side and across the path.
We're still
very dramatic.
Well, great news. We've got a bid of $175 right now. We're looking for a $225 bid, a counter bid that would make you the high bidder. And let me just say, it seems to me that this is a wonderful piece for a romantic, right? You see this couple, their arms are around each other.
Yes.
They're on a summer stroll. We've got 200. Hey, that's terrific news. Now let's see if we can keep going on our way to Diane's intended target, which is a $400 retail value. Let's hear from somebody at 250 and roll this thing forward until we get that bell ringer. But back to the sense of romance, David.
Well, actually, I'm going to take a little side trip. I also, as a watercolorist, and knowing the medium, it's very well painted. It's got nice, juicy. It's not dry brush. Watercolor has got to be juicy. You've got to be able to see the luminescence of the paper coming through these washes. You can see it right here. You can see it on the tree trunks. That's what I like about it. Now, as far as the romanticism, you know, there's a story to tell. I mean, they've gone through this path, and they're just about to break into a sunlit field. Come on, what could be better than that?
I hear you. Well, it's beautiful and it's rich, and we want you to keep calling in and bidding while we move on to the next piece. I believe Cypress Shadows is at 300 right now, so let's get a 350, move on to 400 and beyond while we advance to item 3F. This one is a little bit special because it's themed particularly to public television, PBS. It's called Suitcases of Downton Abbey by the artist Sharon Gerber. We've seen Sharon in this half hour. She's over there on the phone bank, so I suspect we'll be chatting with her. 17 by 20, framed by Sharon with the retail value of $700. We're looking for a starting bid of $210. So all the Downton lovers, and we know there are hundreds of thousands of you in this region, get your phone at the ready. David, tell us what you see in Sharon's piece.
Well, first, what I'd like to say is huzzah for the British Empire and God save the King. And so this bespeaks of a time in history, the British Empire, the turn of the 19th century and the 20th century, and she's done it actually in a very iconic manner. We've got the Edwardian wallpaper. Then we've got the alligator luggage. When was the last time you saw alligator luggage? And then what I like about this tableau is look at this plain floor. Where do you think that is in Downton Abbey?
I don't know. Let's ask Sharon. Let's send it on over to the phone bank.
Okay.
I'm sure we'll have a great answer for you. Sharon.
I am here in the phone bank with Sharon, and that is her piece that's up right now, and I want her to explain a little bit about her inspiration.
Well, I was watching Downton Abbey, and if you remember the episode where Lady Mary goes to London to have that scandalous liaison with Tony, and when she returned, she had Anna, her maid, unpack her, and Anna's husband Bates came over and said, "Do you need help?" And she said, "Can you put the suitcases away?" And she picks up the suitcases, and I screamed, Those are the suitcases I just painted. And literally, I had just painted them because I was doing some paintings on travel. And I've been to 50 countries, and I used to live in England. And this is based on suitcases from Rudyard Kipling's daughter in Sussex, England, in the museum. So I immediately changed the name of the painting to Suitcases of Downton Abbey, and I saved it for tonight for KVIE because KVIE is so dear to my heart. And you know, if this were in a gallery, this would sell for $700. I would love to see it go for as much as possible to support an organization that I just adore and provides so much to our community.
And we want to thank Sharon and all the artists that give us their best work year after year to try and support the auction. So let's get another look at that sweet little painting.
All right, let's pick up the phones and call in. We're looking for that opening bid of $210. That's all it's going to take to make you the leading bidder and perhaps the next owner of Suitcases of Downton Abbey. David, one of the things that I noticed right away is that there's a lot of motion created by competing geometry.
Right. Well, and what I like about, the previous painting, it was all about drama of light and dark. What I like about this is the beautiful balance of it and the focus on the suitcases. And it just has that very balanced, structured feel that the society in England at that time and Downton Abbey had. When they sat down for dinner, everything was very structured and organized. This is a very organized painting.
I completely can see Thomas coming to pick these up and lug them down to the front,
right.
muttering under his breath the entire way and full of resentment. We are going to keep the bidding open on this one, so we want to hear from you. And meantime, stay tuned because there is a whole lot more great art coming up in the next half hour in this, the KVIE Art Auction.
Crow Horwath is proud to support local arts in our region through the KVIE Art Auction. Crow Horwath, a proud supporter of KVIE Public Television.
KVIE is committed to the visual and performing arts through more than 500 hours of arts programming each year. From Downton Abbey to Poldark and Bob Ross to art in the 21st century, KVIE's commitment to the arts stays strong through your participation as a donor and an art buyer. Thank you for being part of the KVIE Art Auction and for making art a part of your home today.
Stay tuned for the Elk Grove Fine Arts Center coming up next on the KVIE Art Auction. With ongoing workshops, classes, and studio time, this center provides a place for the community and artists to celebrate fine arts. You can view all of the galleries featured in this year's auction at kvie.org/artauction.
And Smith-Fagan having a great time live. We're back for another exciting collection of original up for bid, and during this half hour, we feature the works of the Elk Grove Fine Arts Center. So the first thing that I'd like to do is introduce to you the art itself. We're going to begin with item 4A by Joe Matson. Inches by 17 inches, and it's 8 inches in girth with a retail.
Break. Right now, I think we're going to fix something that's happening over on the other side of the studio. And right now, I just want to talk to you about the importance of your donations and your being active in the KVIE Art Auction. Sharon, you've board member for how many years?
For 9 years.
For 9 years.
9
so
glorious years.
You know how important every single dollar is that comes into this station.
It's so crucial to provide the kind of entertainment that you expect from an organization like KVIE, the education, the arts, the the news, the political. I even just this week watched the Walt Disney production. It was fantastic.
It was fantastic. I watched that too. You know, your support of the art auction is crucial. And the good thing about this is you get to take home what you purchase, what you get from us here. You can come pick it up tomorrow, you can come pick it up Sunday, and you can come pick it up Monday. The art in this next half hour is absolutely stunning.
It is absolutely beautiful. I'm looking at some of the pieces, and you're going to see just how beautiful they are.
Oh, yes.
In this coming hour, we have a beautiful piece by Jolene Madsen. We have a gorgeous, there you see the Jolene Madsen piece, that's 4A. I'm going to run through these really quickly for you if you'd like. Also, the next piece is 4B, and the 4B piece that is coming up is gorgeous. It's Frank Barrera, and that piece is Mayan calendar sundial. It's beautiful. It's valued at $300 and absolutely stunning. The next piece is 4C. It's Creek Bedrocks by Jan Rao, and it's gorgeous at a retail value of $400. I love this next piece. I found this next piece in the vault, and it got a lot of play on Facebook, which on 4D, the next one, it's called Duality. There you see it. It's a Juror Award for sculpture. Dante did this, Dante Cuellar, and it's absolutely just so cool. When you see it in person, you're gonna absolutely love it. And then 4E is Honeybee Homes by Teresa Garcia. And this helps make California what it is with all of our wonderful agriculture. Let's head back across the studio.
Rob, thank you so much. This is Kevin back over here with the art itself. I got a fresh mic. I am energized and ready to spend this half hour with you looking at some wonderful art. During this break, we're pleased to be joined by Cheryl Grice. She is a past president and a charter member, I believe, of the Elk Grove Fine Arts Center. And the past president, not only of that, but also past president of the Elk Grove Artists Organization and vice chair of the City of Elk Grove's Committee for the Arts. Cheryl, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Let's get right to it. We are standing next to Dancing by Jolene Madsen. It is a colorful ceramic of movement. What catches your eye?
Well, the mane and the tail, to me, how she's captured, but added the red and orange, and it just makes it more whimsical to me. And she said it's a playful nature and airy action of a horse prancing in joy. And the color, the glazing, how she, anyhow, it's very soft, the coloring, and the red comes through. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all we need right now is to get some people on the phone bidding on this fun, interesting, beautiful ceramic. 105 is the opening bid that we're looking for right now, so why not pick up the phone? You see the number there on your screen, 844-584-3278. That spells KVIE Art. And become the leading bidder. Every dollar of the KVIE Art Auction supports the mission of KVIE in bringing you wonderful programming all year round. And right now, bringing you wonderful art from people in this region. Okay, so cool news. I just got the high sign from the corner. We're allowed to slowly spin Jolene's piece. So I'm going to let you do the honors.
Okay.
And you can talk about what is catching your eye as it slowly rotates.
Just the angle that she's placed the horse at, it's just so playful and whimsical to me. It's just fun to look at.
Well, it's a great word, fun, because wonderful art makes us feel something. Sometimes that emotion is sadness, or it's serenity, or it's peace, or it's anger. This one is fun.
It is.
And who couldn't use a
joyful
shot,
piece,
another booster shot of fun in your day every time you look over at this? Please call in right now with your bid of $105. You'll become the leading bidder on Jolene Madsen's piece, Dancing. When she contributed this piece, she intended KVIE to net at least $350. I would love for us to see that happen, and the winning bidder is going to become the new owner of a fun, cool, interesting, and unique piece.
Yes, it is.
One
of a kind.
One of a kind. You know who else is one of a kind? Sharon Gerber. That's who. She's over in the phone bank.
Yes, she is, and she's over here with me talking about her beautiful piece inspired by Downton Abbey. I absolutely love this piece. And Sharon, by the way, the numbers are coming in, and I know there's 2 people on the phone right now for it. It's at $250 right now. You put a retail value of $700 on it. Tell us more about why you wanted to do this.
Well, traveling is a big thing in my life. I've been to 50 countries. I've lived in England. I've lived in Denmark. And so any opportunity to incorporate travel into my art, I look for that. And Downton Abbey is my absolute favorite television show, next to Rob on the Road, of course, on KVIE. And since I used to live in England, it really is very representative to me of a really happy period in my childhood. And so looking at these suitcases, remembering what those times were like for me, that to me is so memorable. And the value of Downton Abbey that it brings to our enjoyment, my husband's and mine, and the impact it's had on PBS and KVIE has been huge, absolutely huge.
Also, I'd like to say that for all of us who have not been to all those countries, KVIE takes you to those countries. So that's the good thing also. Let's go back over to Kevin.
Thank you, Sharon and Rob. We've got that lead high bid of 105 right now. Let's see if we can't get a 150 counter bid, become the leading bidder on this piece. And Cheryl, I looked down and I noticed that the mane and tail have a feeling of fire to them.
They do.
There's a real boldness. Talk about the choice of color.
Well, these are, orange or red and blue, always there's a nice contrast there, and that shows up with the that combination. It pops.
Look
yes.
at that great face you
yes.
can see on the screen. We've got 150 right now. We're looking for $200 on our way to the retail value. Please call in. Be generous with your support. You can become the next owner of a great piece of art with the added ice cream on that alongside that cake of knowing that all the money supported public television. That, by the way, was a fabulously mangled dessert metaphor, and I will not be living that down anytime soon. But meantime, we move on to item 4B. This is Mayan Calendar Sundial by Frank Barrera. This round ceramic measures 8 inches by 16 3/4 by 8 again, as I mentioned, because it's symmetric. It has a retail value of $300, so we're looking right now for an opening bid on Mayan Calendar Sundial of just $90. Mary Ellen Lane, thank you for being with us. You've got your gloves on, and you're the one who's charged with handling it, which is great because it means I can't break it. So I think we're all a little relieved about that. Cheryl, it's got a little bit of everything.
It does.
What catches your eye?
The coloring, and again, I love color, okay? And these are actual Mayan glyphs, they're called. They're symbols that are carved into the surface, and they actually depict the actual Mayan calendar. And he also says this depicts Mayan 4 directions and animal powers. This artist is really into ancient cultures, and it shows.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Right now, as I mentioned, we're looking for a $90 bid, and the camera pans slowly across all the wonderful, intricate little things to be found when one looks down at the sundial. And by the look of it, it appears that it's a working sundial.
It is, yeah. And it can be hung on wall or shown on a table, and it can be used outside. It's weatherproof.
All right, so that's good to know that it's indoor or outdoor, so that people get out on a patio or someplace in their backyard, and when the sun is shining, you'll know what time it is.
That's right.
As well as being able to enjoy its beauty. Still, look, we've got a $150 high bid, so that is fantastic. Thank you for being generous to the mission of public television. I am so glad that you like this piece. Let's get another person in here. We're halfway to that artist's stated retail value. We're looking for a $200 bid to become the new high bidder on this Mayan sundial. It's just interesting.
This is fun, holding up the dial here, this figure here.
There, I see a turtle and a snake and a big cat and a human face in the center and some other things. What catches your eye?
Well, again, I like this figure here. Whimsical here, holding that up.
It's a great piece.
It's a great piece.
It's at $150 right now. We're looking for a $200 bid. That would make you the leading bidder on our way to the $300 retail value, we hope. Mary Ellen, I know that you're not mic'd, so you can't really comment, and I wish that you could because you always have insights. But for you, I'm going to comment on the snake. The green of the snake just kind of jumps out, and of course, it's a great part of Southwest and Native American art, isn't it, Cheryl?
Man art, yeah. Yep.
All right, so I'm checking the board to see if we've moved. We're still at 150, and that means there's room for you. Actually, there's room for everybody. There are a lot of people on the phones over in the phone bank right now, but there are some phone bank volunteers. They're from Hewlett-Packard. They're here on their Friday night. We're all live, and we want you to be part of that fun. You can see all the energy over at the phone bank. Be part of it. Support your local public television station. Get yourself in on the fun of bidding and perhaps become the next bidder of this cool Mayan calendar sundial. The bidding will remain open even as Cheryl and I move forward to the next item. It's item 4C. It's called Creek Bed Rocks by the artist Jan Rao. It is a watercolor measuring 29 inches by 22 inches, framed by the artist with a retail value of $400. You may have heard the cowbell in the background. That means that we had a bell ringer, and that is terrific news since every dollar is going to support public television. I want to direct your eye, Cheryl, and those folks at home to this watercolor. It has got a lot of interesting geometry.
It does.
Talk about the composition.
It is. I like the way she pulls your eye into the painting here, the leaves, the coloring, and then you go back, this blue sets it back, and also the rocks, none of them are the same. You know, it's just not that symmetrical. It's very beautifully done, the way she's, the glazing of the watercolor and so on. It's beautiful.
Well, we are not the only two who are fond of it because the phones have been ringing. I believe I see on screen a high bid right now of $425, which is just fantastic news. And I'm looking now for someone to come in at $450 and become the new high bidder on this piece. Talk about you mentioned that the leaves kind of pop and the eyes are drawn to that. Where they are placed is interesting.
Yes, it is. It draws
rectangle.
your eye in, and then you come back over to this one over here. You go full circle.
All right.
Pretty.
We're going to be back to talk a little bit more about this piece, but I want to send it over to the phone bank because when we hear the cowbells, we know there's something going on.
Okay, this piece is already a bell ringer, but the Creek Bed Rocks is just a gorgeous piece. It's got this frame on it that really pulls out the watercolor in the rocks. It was one of the big favorites, and it's a bell ringer. It was one of the big favorites at the preview party. And I want to remind you that just because we reach the retail price doesn't mean you could have to stop bidding. Anything you bid above that retail price is a tax deduction for you. So let's go back and look at that gorgeous piece one more time.
Creek Bed Rocks is the name of the piece, and it's so wonderful that it's over retail value. But as Dee rightly pointed out, that does not mean that we need to stop. We need to find this thing a home with the high bidder. Why don't you become the high bidder by calling in right now? You see the 844 KVIE art number on the screen as the camera pans in. There is a certain nuance, a subtlety, isn't there, into how she managed those colors on the rocks? Because rock is...
Well, she told me rocks aren't just gray. You look into them and there's all kinds of a nuance of different colors. And that's what she loves painting them. She says the texture and the coloring and so on, it's a real challenge. And watercolor is not the easiest medium.
She's so talented.
She is.
And there is so much great art talent in this region, and they all gather together this weekend to support public television. Right. And that's the partnership. The artists donate their talent. The phone bank is here donating their time. Right. And then the third leg of that tripod is the people at home. That's you. You call in with your support. All the money goes to support the mission of public television. Oh, and by the way, you get to become the owner of a spectacular piece of art. It's a ragged edge. What does that floating do visually, the way that the framing is juxtaposed to the ragged edge?
Well, it's smooth. It's a contrast. It's smooth, and then you have the painting itself has been is floated onto the back mat, and.
Good deal. Well, you know, we have places to be and appointments to keep. So the bidding remains open on this wonderful, delicate piece, Creek Bed Rocks. But Cheryl and I have moved on to item 4D. It's called Duality. I love this thing.
It's beautiful.
Dante Cuellar is the ceramicist. It's porcelain measuring 11 inches tall with 8 inches in circumference with a retail value of $350. We've already got a high bid of $260, so we'll be looking for the next high bid at $300, and it earned a Jurors Award in sculpture. Cheryl, when you look at it with your expert's eye, what do you think makes it award-worthy?
The glow of the glaze is beautiful. I understand that he makes his own glazes, and particularly for this, he said, except for the red in the middle, all the other glazing is handmade by him.
You know what's really nifty about this piece too? He's new to the KVIE art auction.
Yes.
And we love it when longtime supporting artists come back, and we also love it when new folks jump in too. And we hope the same is true of bidders. We want some new bidders this year, as always. $260 is the high bid right now. The camera does such a great job of capturing the nuances of color as it slowly pans up. And I am going to risk inserting my hand and showing, oh, there are
There's a
gloves.
glove.
Yes, I'm going to use a glove because I want the folks at home to know that there is a lid. It's a lovely, delicate thing, and I'm going to wait for the camera to arrive. I'm going to lift up, and you can see that, in fact, it is a working piece of porcelain. I guess if I should set that down right like that, and people can see what the top is kind of interesting with the crossed ears.
It is. And also he mentioned that it's a decorative piece, but it is food safe glaze, so that it can be used in functional ways also.
It's not just beautiful, it's functional too.
Yes.
We had a high bid of $260. I'm looking to see if that bid has been increased upon. The screen is showing $440, so we are going to confirm that while I toss it over to the phone bank and see what's the latest over there. Take it away, Dee.
Are you guys ready to rock? Because this piece does. It's currently at $550. Ding-ding-ding. It has a retail of $400. We are not closing it out. We do have a bidding war going on in the phone bank as we speak. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. When you're interested in a piece, you need to call up immediately and hang on the phone so you can get your bid up there when people get excited about it. This is an absolutely gorgeous piece. It's beautifully framed. It's ready to pick up and take home tomorrow, and it's still a deal at $550. I am looking for a bid of $600. So let's rock this auction, folks, and get it up to $600. Let's go back out to Kevin.
Thank you so much, Dee. We are here with Duality. It's at $440. We're looking for a $500 bid. Become the new high bidder on this piece. Sure, one of the things that I think is amazing is that this is done by hand on a wheel, but it's perfect.
The perfect shape.
It's perfect.
Yes, he has a real eye for it, and if you ever worked a wheel, it's hard to keep it balanced.
I know
easy.
There's a tremendous amount of skill, and the final shape is just, I mean, it's almost a beautiful. The form, I don't quite know how to say it's so beautiful in its motion, right? I mean, the beautiful curves. It's sublime. There you go. I got my word.
There you go.
Sublime. You know what also is sublime? When you are the winning bidder. We're at $440 right now. Please call in right now and become the new high bidder. Meantime, I'm going to toss over to the phone bank and see what's going on.
All right, thank you so much, Kevin. It is so exciting to stand here and listen to everybody on the phones and to hear how people are asking so many questions about the art. And I love hearing that we are the art station, and I love hearing that.
And Sacramento is so compassionate about art. I mean, Second Saturday is just enormously successful, and everybody has a collection of somebody. It's exciting to live in a community that embraces art.
Well, and you know what else I've heard? I've heard that more working artists live in Northern California, working artists, than anywhere else in the country. These working artists gave their work to KVIE, gave these pieces to us, just like Sharon did, so that we could in turn auction them off and make money for the station. And without your support, we cannot keep our strong programming coming. So please call 1-844-KVIE-ART and check out the rest of what we have going on across the studio with Kevin.
One of the best things about the KVIE art auction is the tremendous variety. We go from this sublime ceramic piece to something completely different. The adorable honeybee homes, it's item 4E by the artist Teresa Steinbach Garcia. It's pastels, it's square, 20 inches by 20 inches. She framed it as part of her donation. It's got a retail value of $500, and right now we already have a high bid of $150, so we're looking for you to jump in at $200. Call in and become the high bidder. You love it, I know, because we were talking. You love this piece, Sharon. Talk about why.
Okay, well, Terry shared that she was out painting with a group around Davis, and she graduated from UC Davis, she was searching for subjects to paint, and she came across these lavender bee boxes. How often do you see bee boxes that are lavender? She doesn't know why they were painted that way. But the contrast between that and then the backdrop of spring, flowers and the vineyards, she said, what a nice contrast. And that caught her eye, and that's what got her going.
Well, it makes me smile. When I look at it, I smile.
Yes.
And part of it is that the colors are fun.
Right.
Part of it is the setting, and I think part of it is the motion, because there are 4 boxes that are central, but they're not lined up exactly straight, and there's a motion that comes with that. I mean, it gives it some dynamic feel, doesn't it, Cheryl?
Yes, it does. And it's unusual for a painting to me. You think bee boxes, Yeah. But it's fun, yeah.
Fun is the word, and you know what also is fun? Raising money for public television. Yes, I find that to be tremendously fun. We're at 150. We're looking for you to call in right now to 844-584-3278. That's 844-KVIE Art. Become the high bidder. Meantime, back to the phone bank we go.
I am here with the lovely Lisa Hartzell, and I'm here with the amazing Duality. This little piece is up to $550. It is a bell ringer. I wanted Lisa to show us that this is a functional piece. The lid does come off. It can be used as a vessel, or you could hide things in there. I don't know. But we're keeping it open because we've got interested bidders. Is that my Kenny? Yay, Cowbell Kenny. So we're at $550. I'm looking for a bid of 6. We're going to keep it open for a few more minutes. Honeybee Homes is only at $150. I love that little piece. So let's take another look at it.
Well, thanks, Dee. We are right back here. I love it when the cowbells are clanging and the phones are ringing. It means that we're raising money for public television. The camera's panning down on those just adorable lavender boxes. I'm not sure either of us can say why we love it. We just do.
Yeah. It's very colorful, and it's such a contrast to the area.
Pastels are a form of charcoal, is that right?
No, it's a chalk, colored chalk.
It's colored chalk, so most of us with chalk in our hands just are stuck with chalk in our hands.
Right.
She has managed to make this unique, interesting, fun, lighthearted.
Right.
Really, if you want some more lightheartedness in your life, and I know you do, call in right now, bid $175. This could be yours, and you'll feel lightheartedness every time you look at it over and over again for years to come. And you'll have been supporting KVIE, which, by the way, has all kinds of fantastic natural world programming on Nature and Nova. We learn about bees and beekeeping and the natural world that enriches our lives. So we're at 200, and we're looking for 225. While I'm kicking on over to the phone bank, there's always something great going on.
All right, so we just want to give a lot of thanks as we round out this hour and launch us into the next one. Big round of applause.
Yay for the HP volunteers.
For Hewlett Packard volunteers. They're here for the rest of the night. And thank you, Sharon, for being a contributing artist this year.
Oh, I'm so delighted to support KVIE. I always will.
Well, we're glad you will.
And thanks to all of you.
Absolutely. And we are so glad you're watching. Call 1-844-KVIE-ART. And Kevin, we're going to go back to you across the studio. Take it away.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Sharon. Look, KVIE is about arts, ideas, and adventures. Every hour of every day of the year, you can turn to KVIE and find something that will enrich you personally and is for the betterment of our region. That's worth supporting. And when you call in this weekend and bid, you're not only supporting that mission, you are making yourself the high bidder on a wonderful piece of art like the one that we are here, the Honeybee Homes, have been talking about. So meantime, I want you to stay tuned. There's so much more great art coming up in the next half hour of this, the KVIE Art Auction.
Welcome to the 34th Annual KVIE Art Auction. Join us all weekend for a celebration of local and regional visual arts. Over 250 pieces will be auctioned off to the highest bidder, and you can be part of the action by watching and bidding on your favorite pieces. View the entire collection online at kvie.org/artauction. Then when your favorite item appears, call 1-844-KVIE-ART to place your bid. 100% of the auction proceeds benefit the programs and services of your local PBS station, KVIE. So thank you for watching and bidding. And now, let the auction begin. Bidding on items in the art auction is quick and easy to do. First, explore the collection online at kvie.org/artauction, or keep your television tuned to KVIE. When a piece of art catches your eye, call 1-844-KVIE-ART and a volunteer will assist you. KVIE accepts all major credit cards for your art purchase, and a member of our accounting team will confirm your payment within 5 minutes of item sale. Thank you for being part of the KVIE Art Auction and for making art a part of your home today.
Stay tuned for the Blue Line Arts Gallery coming up next on the KVIE Art Auction. Located in Roseville, California, this nonprofit arts community showcases the works of regional and national artists in a flexible exhibition space for over 45 years. You can view all of the galleries featured in this year's auction at kvie.org/artauction.
Hello and welcome to the 2015 KVIE Art Auction. I'm Jason Schultz with America's Heartland. Yes, we're open, and a few other shows here at KVIE. Over the next half hour, you will have the opportunity to bid on and buy original works of arts from artists affiliated with Blue Line Arts. The portion of this art auction is sponsored by Crow Horwath. I'd like to thank you for their commitment for supporting the arts right here on KVIE. And now let's take a look at the art that's up for bid in this next half hour. Here we go. Item 5A is Three Old Friends by Ina Rankin. This is acrylic on canvas measuring 18 by 24. Retail value $350. Item 5B is Cliffs of Moher by Eleanor Rosen. This is oil on canvas measuring 40 by 30. Retail value is $480 on that one. Let's look at 5C, White Rose Altar by Kathy Rowe, mixed media, measuring 24 by 36, retail value of $500. Item 5D is Bixby Bridge by Mark Ipasso, mixed media, measuring 40 by 25, retail value of $1,500. Now, item 5E is On the Way to Bodega Bay by Helen Planert. This is watercolor measuring 18 by 24 with Skyline 1 framing. Beautiful piece of art. Retail value $500. Item 5F is Under the Sea by Tony Natsoulis. This is ceramic measuring by 12 by 5 by 2 each. Retail value of $900, and those are fun, no doubt. Well, we are going to be looking at all of these pieces of art, and joining me is Julie Hirota from Blue Line Arts. She's the 2014 Art Executive of the Year, the CEO of Blue Line Arts, and here representing the contributing artists from Blue Line Arts. Welcome. So thrilled to have you with us, Julie.
Great to be here again, and great to showcase the work of Blue Line artists. So
well,
thank you.
Some fantastic pieces. You are the expert to talk with us about all these pieces. Let's get started with this one right here.
Well, this is just a really, really lovely piece. You can see that these are the three rocks outcropping along the Oregon coast. It's done on acrylic. And if you take a look, you can see so many different things happening in this piece. You can see the waves crashing against the piece. And if you look very closely right here, you can even see that person and what they're doing. It reminds me of a nice vacation spot. Have you been along the Oregon coast?
Oh, many times. It is beautiful. And I have to tell you, I didn't catch that person standing there initially, and now that you pointed out, that's great. What a little treasure there.
Well, that's the wonderful thing about artwork, is that every time you look at it, you see something differently. And this is exactly one of those cases. The color in this is just absolutely stunning. You see such strong colors of blue. There's some gold and yellow right in here. And then there's just catches of warm rusts and red in there, just as those rocks would show if you were actually there.
I did pick up on those warm rust colors, as if you would see, if you were that person there, right there, you'd find the color in the algae. We really want to get this started. Let's get an opening bid of $105.
It's a quite collectible piece, and it just reminds me of those vacation spots. And look, you can see a little bit of the reflection there. And it does a wonderful job of capturing the moment and really going into detail, but also getting a great look at the entire landscape.
As I think about this, if you're watching this at home, if you have been to the Oregon coast, or really the California coast as well, you will see this scene. And one of the things that I find about the ocean, of course, is so relaxing. And of course, we can't go to the ocean every day in Sacramento, so why not bring it to your living room or your office?
Absolutely. And it's one of these pieces that you can tell stories about. It reminds you of maybe that vacation spot or that special honeymoon spot, or perhaps one of those times when you were growing up, or times that you might have spent with your family and had years of tradition.
So many memories. Hey, we want to get those phones ringing. Let's check in with the phone bank.
I'm fascinated listening to the phone conversations.
I know, me too.
I mean, it's so cool to hear what people are saying. Dee, how long, you're the curator.
Oh, yeah.
How long did it take to put this collection together?
It takes about 3 months to put the collection together. It starts out with an open call. We get about 600 entries. And we only pick, out of that 600, we pick about 140. So it's not easy to get in. And then I start studio visits, and I visit the master's category, and I hand select the pieces, and I strong arm people to give me their best work.
Yeah.
And that's how the collection's built. It takes a full summer.
It takes a full summer, and it takes your involvement. 1-844-KVIE Art is the way to get involved. Every single dollar. Every dollar from this auction goes to the programming here at KVIE and to support the mission of KVIE. And we are going to send it back across the studio over to Jason.
Boy, you've got that right, Rob. Every dollar that's raised goes to help with the mission of KVIE, and it is the mission of being the premier storyteller for our region, and we take that role very seriously. Hey, we've got 150. That's fantastic to hear, but we want to keep it rocking and rolling tonight. Julie, 150, we can go higher than that.
Well, I mean, that's a very good place to start as a collectible, but I tell you, this piece is so much more than that. The waves in here, the way she has taken such time to paint both the delicacy and the strength of those waves. And then if you look at the sand along the bottom of this painting, you can see, I mean, it just takes you away. You can sense that smoothness of the sand, the rockiness and sharpness of the rocks, and then those waves just crashing down.
Well, that is a beautiful way to describe it, and I sure hope we keep those phones ringing tonight. 844-KVIE Art, 1-844-584-3278. That is the number this year. That's the number to call to get any of these pieces, and we are moving on. The next piece is 5B, Cliffs of Moher by Eleanor Rosen, with a value of $480. This is a big piece, 40 by 30, retail value of $480, as I mentioned, oil on canvas. Julie, I really like this piece because the contrast that you see in the colors.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's quite stunning. You've got the warmth of the sunlight up top here, mixed with just some warm yellows, golds, and oranges, contrasting to the cool colors here. And up close and far away, it tells just a different story. It looks quite abstract, but when you step back from it, you really can see these moors and these cliff outcroppings. The color just continues to change through the entire piece. We've got some beautiful greens in here, and that's what oil does. Oil has this strong sense of color, and it really comes through nicely in this piece.
And I'm curious about the technique that we see here, where you have it's almost it's a running of a color here. What is that?
Well, it looks as though what Eleanor has done is she's used the oils in a little bit different of a way, where she's had a little bit more liquidity to it to make the color a change and make the paint itself streak in different ways. We don't always see oils used in that way, so it's a very different approach to it, and very, very unique.
It gives you the sense of the water going over cliffs.
Exactly. It does do that.
Hey, we've got the phone lines open. We are at $145, and we want to see that go up. Call 1-844-KVIE ART, 1-844-584-3278, to get this beautiful piece of art in your home. And I love the orange sky.
It's
Julie.
fantastic. It really sings. And the size and scale of this piece is another important aspect of it. Very, very nice size. Would go lovely in any living room, bedroom, anywhere in the home. And it's one of those pieces that if you have in your home, in your collection, where all of your company are going to continue to comment on the piece because it's just so striking.
It really is striking, and we are going to check in with the phone bank now. Rob, what do you got going on over there?
It actually just. Hey, we were just talking about the prices. It just doubled. It went from 145 to 300.
Rob was sitting here going, "Why can't we bid on that?"
Well, I know, and I know the rules, and I can't afford it anyway. But I'll tell you one thing: that is a beautiful piece, and this is a beautiful gallery. You wanted to talk about the gallery collection.
We have different galleries that participate, and what happens is their artists have to apply as an individual artist. I have to accept at least 6 of their artists into the auction for them to be admitted as a gallery. So it's not easy to get in. And so these pieces that you're seeing, particularly from the Blue Line Gallery.
From Julie Hirota's gallery.
Right. In Roseville, you would see these on the wall at the gallery, but instead of being there, you can buy them here for the same price, and all of that money goes to PBS.
See, that just blows my mind, because that gallery could be making all of this money. But they're letting us have the money here.
And so are their artists.
Fantastic. Let's go back to Jason and Julie.
Rob, I think that this is an excellent opportunity to take advantage of that fact. We are at $350 now, and it is a large piece, but it's not an intimidating piece in any way. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, no, I say it's highly collectible. And, you know, the great thing about Blue Line artists, I heard Rob and Dee mentioning, is that they are such generous artists. And this is no exception, where they will put their work out there, show it at our location, but also give back to KVIE. And this is one of those pieces where for just this is a really wonderful price. It's a wonderful piece and highly talented artist.
Well, we are lucky because we are up to $450. We're going to keep the bidding going on this piece, but we need to move on, Julie. We have our next piece, and this is 5C, White Rose Altar by Kathy Rowe. Now, this is mixed media, measuring 24 by 36 with a retail value of $500. We need to get the bidding started right now on this piece. And there are some serious colors going on in this piece, Julie.
Oh, yes, quite a bit of color. I mean, Kathy uses a variety of things in her pieces. And mixed media means that she is using a variety of techniques, a variety of painting, a variety of materials. And you can see in this piece that it's a triptych. So it has these hinged doors that is somewhat resemblance of an altar. And alongside that, she has the striking color of the really light values with the flower here against the dark background. She starts with very dark colors in the back and then continues to paint over them to get that really strong depth in there.
And you mentioned the hinges. If you can see this, there on both sides. It's 3 pieces, and these swing out, so you could set this on a location, on a mantle. You could mount it on your wall. It's really whatever suits you.
That's right, and that's a wonderful thing to remind the viewers about, that is that this piece can change over time. You can put it on your wall, you can set it on top of a dresser, in a little vanity area, of course in your entry. It can really go anywhere, sitting as a sculptural piece or as a hanging piece.
And the roses are beautiful.
They're
really
absolutely beautiful. She does such nice work in creating smooth lines with nice definition, contrasting to tremendous amount of texture throughout the piece. It gives you a feeling of you can really touch, you really want to touch the piece.
Well, we want to get this in someone's home, and to do that, we need to get the phones ringing. And to do that, we're going to check in with the phone bank. What do you got over there?
All right, so we have good news.
This is a bell ringer.
Yes, it is.
This is Cliffs of Moore.
Okay.
We had a retail of $4.80. It has a high bid of $5.50. It's still open. That means it's a bell ringer. A bell ringer means it went for at or above retail. And that means that our little friend, Cowbell Kenny,
You saw it fly in and fly out.
flew in and flew out, and we love him. The first one was also
There
a
it
bell
is.
ringer. There he goes. Yay!
And basically that means that any amount above what retail is, you can write off on your taxes. This is a bell ringer right here.
As
It
well
is
it should be.
beautiful, and I think all of them should be. Let's go back across the studio.
Hey, I like Kenny. Where did he come from? That's awesome. He just flew right in there. Okay, we need Kenny to fly and land on this piece as well, right, Julie?
Absolutely, absolutely. And what else I can tell you about this is Kathy does a great job of putting a story along with her pieces. Each of the pieces has just something else to say, and in this piece can be interpreted by the viewer in so many different ways. And as I mentioned, the altar kind of idea about the piece, we have the sculptural element as well, and then that strong use of color. I mean, where do you see this kind of use of color anywhere? It's just a lovely piece.
Well, we're looking for an opening bid on this piece of $150. Please give us a call because we want to get this in someone's home. I know this piece speaks to someone right now. They're seeing those deep hues of purple and blue and red that's in there as well. And then, of course, the white roses as well.
It's one of those pieces that will draw you in. Can you imagine this sitting on a table in the entryway alongside a nice, beautiful bouquet of flowers? I mean, that tells an entirely different story as well. So there's so many ways to showcase this piece.
You're absolutely right. I hadn't even thought about that. Put it in the entryway. Folks walk in with some fresh flowers right there. And then, of course, you have the piece as well with the contrast. It truly would be beautiful. If you want this piece right now, you need to call 1-844-KVIE Art. And it is time to move on. I hear people cheering. That means the phones are ringing. Let's look at 5D. This is Bixby Bridge by Mark Epasso. This is mixed media measuring 40 by 25, retail value of $1,500, and this is a beautiful piece. Now, it's labeled mixed media, Julie. Explain that to me as I look at this.
Well, in this mixed media piece, Marco has used gouache, which is a watercolor-based paint, along with pencil and watercolor painting as well. And have you ever been to Santa Cruz?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
It's
this is
beautiful.
the Bixby Bridge in Santa Cruz. Marco depicts a lot of different California imagery. He does great scaled pieces, and this is no exception. The detail in here is quite amazing. And when you come up close, you can start to see the fine detail in the bridge itself, along the railings, and as you step back, you get that beautiful coastal view of Santa Cruz, which we all know well.
Great news. We've got a bid at $450. Let's get that to $500 right now. I know someone wants this. I know more than one person wants this. So if you want it, you do need to bid because this one's going to be hot. I can hear the phones ringing.
Well, Marco is a really supportive Blue Line artist. He supports us in so many ways. He's always providing work for us to showcase in the gallery. He's always providing work for us to showcase outside of the gallery. And of course, donating to KVIE. He's a very generous painter, does great scale and size of work, and highly collectible.
We are so grateful for that. And let's check in with the phone bank. We've got some news, I hear.
We are moving right along. The White Rose altar has a high bid of $150. It's got a retail of $500. These are all artists that are from the Blue Line Gallery. Blue Line is an amazing gallery in Roseville. If you haven't been there, you've got to go. Not only do they have a beautiful gallery space, they have an amazing gift shop where you can buy smaller pieces of art. And we all know that the holidays are coming. They're, I believe, open Tuesday through Saturday. They also have regular receptions, and you can check them out online. Right now, the Bixby Bridge, which has a retail of $1,500, is at $450. So let's go back to Jason and take a look at some more artwork.
Dee, I love this piece, Bixby Bridge. And if you have been to Santa Cruz, as you were mentioning, Julie, you've seen this bridge. You've perhaps been right there.
I've been right around here. I've run along the coastline of Santa Cruz, and there's so much to see there. And Marco has captured this bridge just perfectly. The horizontal line, the vertical lines that go in the bridge, among the very subtle coastline and the mountains around there, it really, really emphasizes the look of that bridge. And another thing is the detailing on the framework is very, very well done.
It is beautiful, yes.
It really enhances the piece. It makes the piece even larger and presents the work very, very well.
And we should mention he framed it himself.
He framed it himself. Very, very good to know.
It is really nice, and one of the things about art is it takes you places. You can explore places you've been or perhaps want to go, and this is a perfect example. We are at 450. Let's get this to 500. I know we can. Now, one of the things you mentioned were the lines, and one of the beautiful things about lines is it draws your eye in. And so perhaps it's drawing your eye to these beautiful green mountains, perhaps out to the water. It depends.
That's right. It's all about the scale, the composition of the piece, the use of geometric figures along organic figures to keep your eye moving around the piece. And Marco does a very nice job of keeping your eye moving, not only with the geometry versus the organic shapes, but also with the use of color. He does a great job bringing in the white gouache lines in here, which is not the easiest thing to do in this type of painting, to bring in a really strong white over the dark of other colors. So he's done a great job with this piece.
Julie, let's go over to the phone bank. We've got Rob, D.
Well, I'll tell you what these people are doing.
Is it 5C, the White Rose Altar?
Is an art. I mean, they are really working with the people who are calling in, and they have so many questions. But I just took the earphones and spoke to this lovely lady named Linda from Curtis Park. She got 2 pieces that she's been wanting so badly, and she said, quote unquote, I'm gonna do some damage on Sunday. So thank you, Linda, and thank you, Phone Bank, and let's go back across the studio. Again, 1-844-KVIE Art is the number. Jason.
Hey, Linda, we look forward to your call on Sunday, but for now, we are going to take a look at 5E on the way to Bodega Bay by Helen Plenert. This is a watercolor measuring 18 by 24. Skyline 1 did the framing on this, and it truly is beautiful. We have a retail value of $500. Julie, I love this piece because there's so much going on here with the colors all over the piece here.
Right. Helen does a very nice job of using the warmth of the yellows in here in this watercolor piece against just the variety of greens. And then the blue sky has a little bit of a speckle in it. She really is a master of watercolor. She teaches watercolor classes at Blue Line Arts.
Oh, wow.
And so she is an expert. And again, we've been going on a lot of vacations here on the last few pieces, and this is one of those pieces, again, where it's a memorable spot in California.
This has been a nice little tour that we've taken along the coast and throughout the region here.
That's right, that's right. And I think this is one of those pieces, again, that you can talk about with your family. It inspires that discussion or talking about your vacation of the past or those times you've had with your family.
Well, we've got a bid of $120, and I know we can go higher than that. We've got a retail value of $500, and it is definitely worth mentioning the framing of this piece. The colors in the mat and the frame really pull the greens out and the yellow out of this piece.
It's a striking framing job. It really accentuates the piece nicely, and it also focuses you in on the subtleties and the softness. Now, Helen gets the entire piece of watercolor paper wet first, and then she applies the watercolor paint. And if you can imagine what that's like and how difficult that is to manage the paint once the entire piece is wet, she does it very well, and she's
masterful.
Yeah, masterful, and she's able to get the variety of color, the subtlety of color, light and dark in there, and then also the very nice sharp lines as well.
Really a captivating piece, I would say.
Captivating piece.
And the fence line, I love the fact that it is, if you were standing there looking at it and the sun, it's a beautiful, bright, sunny day, you can't even see some of the fence line because it's so bright. It's as if you're standing there, you know, it's a beautiful sunny morning, or maybe the sun is setting and you're standing there looking at this and you're just taken there.
That's right, that's right. It's again one of those vacation pieces. Now, the blue that's in here is very striking. Can you see? It's almost as though this is the lightest blue possible, and as we go to the outside of the piece, it just gets that strong, strong color of blue, just like a nice California sky on a beautiful day.
I love that you mentioned she has a very specific technique that she utilizes with the watercolor. That's one of the great things about utilizing local artists for this art auction, is that they have these special techniques. And you can go visit the Blue Line Arts facility, the gallery, and check out all the pieces.
That's right, and see Helen's work there as well. You're absolutely right. These masters, these local masters, have a way of using their watercolor or their oil or their acrylics, and Helen is no exception. She has developed a technique that is all her own to make a piece that's just really striking.
It is striking, and we need to go over to the phone bank with Dee. Hey, Dee.
I am standing here next to Bixby Bridge. This is a beautiful, huge painting. It's got a $1,500 retail. It's got an amazing gallery frame on it. Right now, I'm only looking at a bid of $750. I've got people on the phone. You need to call 1-844-KVIE Art, which is 1-844-584-3278. We're only going to keep this open for a few more minutes. Again, I've only got a bid right now of $750. Let's get it up to the retail. Let's go back out to see you guys.
Hey, Dee, I like to hear that. And guess what? Good news. We are at $250 with this piece, Julie, and it is well worth every penny. I love it. And I love the fact that local artists in the community are supporting KVIE by donating their artwork.
And you know, another thing about the local artists is they've visited the places that many of us who are here locally have visited as well. So that's why we're seeing so many images that are from places that we love to visit and evoking those memories of the places we've been.
And something else to consider if you are thinking about getting this piece. When someone comes to your house, they can say, oh, I've seen this scene in California. And then guess what? You have a second story to tell them, which is, I got this through the KVIE art auction, and I'm supporting local public television, which is just a wonderful thing. We all know that. 844-KVIE Art is the phone number. We need you to call right now. We want you to get this piece in your house. So many beautiful pieces tonight, and we are moving on to 5F, Under the Sea by Tony Natsoulis. Now, I love these pieces. They look very familiar to me. And one of the things about these is they're so happy. These are some happy under the sea creatures. This is ceramic measuring 12 by 5 by 2 each with a retail value of $900. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. Julie?
When you talk about happy, that's Tony Natsoulis. He's our curator at Blue Line Arts, and this really resembles his personality and his use of color. And Tony, he uses so much color in his work, and he does it in a very particular way. And Tony's been named as one of the top 100 artists of America. He is a very well-known ceramic sculptor. He's influenced so many artists and sculptors in the United States, probably in the world, and locally, of course, as well.
And each one of his creatures here has their own color and personality and expression. We've got this guy over here with a gold tooth.
Isn't that fantastic?
Isn't that fun? What do we have here? We have some goofy...
look at the bright red lips.
Bright red lips and the freckles there. The crab looks like he's maybe been goofing around over here. And this is a turtle swimming. So much fun. I could see so many places in your home that this would go. We have a bid on this of $400. Is that right? That's wonderful. I'm so happy to see that. So that means folks are interested in this. And if you are, and I think you are, then you better call now because this one will go fast. These are beautiful pieces. You could put them all in one collection, or you could maybe put them throughout your home as little surprises for
That's
folks.
right. And they also make great gifts as well.
That's a great idea.
I collect Tony's work, and I do buy these. I give them out as gifts, as a series, as individual pieces. And Tony's a very sought-after ceramic sculptor. He's also a juror in our community, both at the California State Fair for KVIE, and he's also a sought-after curator. And so Tony's very well known. His pieces are very collectible. Everyone should have one.
I agree, and we are at 425. If you have a child, if you have grandchildren, just think if you could introduce them to local art at an early age in such a fun way.
That's right. And the great thing about Tony's work is age ranges from very, very little all the way up to, excuse me, my age and beyond recognize Tony's work and have a smile on their face when they see it. Kids enjoy it, adults enjoy it, everybody likes it, makes you smile. How could it not with these red lips and this big giant teeth with the big gold tooth right up there?
I'm not sure if my kids are watching right now, but if they are, I can see them saying, Dad, you need to get this and bring it home. We want to name these fish, but sorry kids, we're at 500 and that means folks want these. If you want them too, you need to call in. Let's check in with the phone bank, see if folks are calling in. I'm pretty sure they are, Rob and Dee.
Yeah, and you know, Jason's mentioning kids. I have to give a big shout out to Fletcher Corcoran, who's watching right now, with his mom, Glenda Corcoran, who's a big collector of the arts. So there you go, Fletcher. Helen Planner, this is her piece.
This is on the way to Bodega. It's at $350 right now. It's got a $500 value. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I've been chatting with her on Facebook. I know this woman.
She does amazing work. If you love Bodega as much as I love Bodega, my husband's family's from up in that area. It's just gorgeous. It's early California landscapes are so collectible right now, and this has some of that same qualities as the early masters.
It is absolutely gorgeous.
It's stunning. It's in a beautiful frame. It's ready to pick up. You gotta call us now at 1-844-KVIE Art.
At $350 right now, by the way, worth $500.
Let's go back and look at some fish.
Okay, we are at $550 with the fish, and these would look lovely in a grandchild's room or in a child's room or in your living room. Really, it's a versatile piece, and they're really so fun and happy and colorful.
That's right. I've seen them in kitchens. I've seen them in living rooms. I've seen them in different places in everybody's house. They're very conversational pieces. They're fun pieces, and it's a little bit of Tony with each piece, and that is quite collectible. If
Tony
you know
must be a fun guy.
He is a fun guy.
He must have a great personality and a good sense of humor that you can have in your house right here.
That's right. That's right. He does this. He fires these. They're all ceramic, and they're fired in a high fire with these very vibrant colors. And
we are at 600 on these, Julie. Isn't that great news?
Fantastic.
It says 550, but we are at 600. I'm so happy to hear that. That means folks are interested in this, and that means if you are interested in this, you do need to call because you don't want to miss out. Okay, this is this piece, but you need to stay tuned because there is more art coming up in the next half hour right here on the KVIE Art Auction. Crow Horwath is proud to support local arts in our region through the KVIE Art Auction. Crow Horwath, a proud supporter of KVIE Public Television.
Picking up your purchased art is quick and easy to do. Visit KVIE Studios Saturday through Tuesday during these posted hours to claim your art. Or if you need your art shipped, be sure to tell our accounting staff when they call to confirm payment on your item. All purchased art must be claimed within 30 days of auction closure. For questions, location, and hours, visit kvie.org/artauction.
Stay tuned for Animals in Nature, coming up next on the KVIE Art Auction, featuring representations of animals and nature scenes in all mediums.
Hello again, I'm Jason Schultz, and we're back for tonight's final half hour of the live auction excitement in the 2015 KVIE Art Auction. And in this half hour, featuring Sacramento scenes. What a great way to end our night. Let's take a look at the art that's up for bid in this next half hour. Item 6A is Land Park Trees by Patrice Miller. This is oil on canvas measuring 16 by 20 with a retail value of $750. Item 6B is Tower Theater by Barbara Colleen, acrylic on canvas measuring 16 by 20, retail value of $200. Item 6C is Land Park number 5 by Laureen Landau. This is acrylic on board measuring 32 by 42. with archival framing, doing the framing on that. Truly a beautiful piece with a retail value of $850. And item 6D is Ziggurat by Pat Livingston. Photography measuring 19.5 by 72 inches with a retail value of $2,000. Item 6E is Jaboom Street by Bruce Leavitt. Mixed media measuring 20 by 20. Archival framing, did the framing on that as well. Retail value of $600. And 6F is The Grand Theater by Richard Herrera. Now this is watercolor measuring 18 by 20 with a retail value of $350. So as you can see, we've got a lot to talk about in this next half hour. During this break, we're pleased to be joined again by Julie Hirota, the 2014 Art Executive of the Year and the CEO of Blue Line Arts. Julie, so thrilled to have you with me for the next half hour. We've got a lot to look at, so let's get started.
Thanks.
This piece is really beautiful. It takes you to the park, doesn't it?
It does take you to Land Park. This is done in plein air. And for those that aren't familiar with that term, it's on location. So you're painting as you're watching it happen. And it can be a tricky way to paint because the scene is changing. You have the elements around you. I've seen plein air painters before where we've all of a sudden a gust of wind comes by and everything has changed and their materials are out there with everything happening. But this oil piece is wonderful. And she's done a remarkable job of blending the colors together in this oil piece. And you can see just the nice subtle bark on the tree along the grass in the background and these other trees in the blues and the greens mixes the colors so nice.
Well, Julie, I am happy to report that we already have a bid of $225 for this piece. Perhaps it was someone who was walking in the park one day and saw Patrice painting this and said, someday I'm going to see that again. And they saw it tonight on KVIE and they're bidding now. If you want this piece, you need to call 1-844-KVIE Art or 584-3278 to get this beautiful piece. And Land Park is a treasure of our community, isn't it?
Oh, we're very fortunate to have such a wonderful resource available to us and to have in our community. What I love about this piece is these little pink flowers that are poking through right here. The whole piece overall has such just nice use of color. There's cool and there's warmth in it. And then this little highlight of the pink blossoms in the background. It's that reminder of when those blossoms come out just in the springtime and the turn of the season in Land Park.
Exactly. And one of the beautiful things about Land Park is there is so much diversity in terms of the horticulture that exists. And it's captured here.
That's right. And well, you can take a look in Land Park and you can see many different scenes. So this is just a snapshot of one of those places. Very memorable park. Lots of family traditions celebrated in Land Park, and what a great way to have that tradition in your home through this nice oil painting with good use of rich color.
Well, we are at $225 now. It has a retail value of $750. I think you want this in your house, and I think you need to call right now. Let's check in with the phone bank.
I absolutely love the artist that is on the screen right now, Patrice. She's a friend of mine. She's an amazing person. She's doing her part to help revitalize Oak Park. Jessica, come here. So Jessica's back here monitoring everything along with Steve Sweeney. This is Jessica.
Hello.
Hello. So tell me, what are you seeing happening back here on the computers as you're monitoring everything?
Lots of action. There's a ton of people calling, and it's good energy. Lots of bell ringers.
Lots of bell ringers.
Lots of cowbell Kenny's going on back
Lots
here.
of cowbell Kenny's going on back here. You were here last year with me.
Yep.
Do you think the excitement is bigger this year?
Oh, definitely. More pieces, more new artists, lots of just good energy and great art.
Good energy and great art. That's what KVIE is. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Good energy, great art. Back across the studio.
Well, that is a great way to put it. Good energy, great art. And right here, great art. We have right here a bid of $300. That's where we stand. Clearly, this is a hot one. And so I know someone's probably relaxing on their couch watching right now, thinking there might be on the fence whether or not they want this piece. Well, if you are on the fence, I encourage you to call now because our bid just went up again at $325. Julie.
Oh, and what you can see with this piece is Patrice uses traces and suggestions from Impressionism. There's very good use of the paintbrush in here and how the Impressionists did their work, as well as Patrice is influenced by Edgar Payne's work, and you can see some of that in there with Patrice's style, of course, and she does a remarkable job of creating her own palette of colors and her own style and her own brush strokes of a very wonderful, famous place for all of us in Sacramento.
You know what I also love about this piece is the size. It really feels like the perfect size for this piece.
It is the perfect size for this piece, and what draws you in is this one tree in the forefront here draws you in, and as you look at that tree, you can see how the rest of the piece balances out with the subtlety of these other trees in the background.
And the shadows and the light, and you're right, you're drawn in by that bright tree there, and then what's hidden back behind there? Is that a golfer? I don't know, right? Hey, if you want this piece, you need to call 1-844-KVIE Art. And we are moving on to 6B, Tower Theater by Barbara Killeen. Now this is acrylic on canvas measuring 16 by 20 with a retail value of $200. I love the fact that we started in Land Park, and here we are looking at this piece that has on the street sign Land Park Drive. We're taking a beautiful tour of Sacramento tonight.
That's right, and this is a wonderful acrylic piece by Barbara, and the striking use of color in here. Look at the intensity of the blue sky in here, and then you can see, if you're just looking closely, you can see how she's put the traffic lights in there as well. It's a very familiar location, and Barbara does a great job, again, of using the detail in here of the tower building along with the subtlety of the trees and the landscape around it.
This is a sunset by the Tower Theater, isn't it? It's just a wonderful feeling that you get, almost of warmth when you look at this.
It's really beautiful. You can almost tell the time of day because it is as the sun is going down with this warm, warm sunset color in the background. It just reminds you of a beautiful Sacramento evening, doesn't it?
It sure does. I hear the phone ringing, and I hope that's for this piece because I want you to have this in your home. If you are interested in this piece, we need you to call right now. 1-844-KVIE Art, 584-3278. We'd like to get an opening bid of $60, which is a steal for a wonderful piece, and that's going to get things started. And we know what happens when we get things started tonight on the phones. They are ringing. So if you're interested, make sure you call right now.
Barbara does a great job of showcasing our Sacramento location. She is a local artist. She is also been affiliated with Blue Line Arts and has been in the State Fair as well, which are, you know, these artists who get into the State Fair and into Blue Line, they have an exceptional technique and style with their work, and Barbara is a good example of that. I love that she's chosen to paint something local, and she's done it with a good use of color as well.
You know what I also love are the cars in the piece. That gives you the sense of, yes, we are still in the city.
That's right, that's right. And she's done a great job of adding this as another element. It keeps your eye moving through the piece, the horizontal landscape that's created with the cars, but then the vertical landscape that's created with the tower building here. And you can see the repetition of these horizontal lines.
I've got great news. We're at 225. The phones are ringing. Let's check in with the phone bank.
All right, thank you so much, Jason. And look at this beautiful picture by Patrice, this painting by Patrice. Her studio is on 34th and Broadway, I believe, in Oak Park, and it is fascinating. I've been in there and I've watched her paint. We did a story on her, and it aired on Rob on the Road and on KVIE Arts Showcase. And what's so fascinating about her is this was a second career for her. And her mother, before she passed away, said, you need to do something that you're passionate about. And she learned how to paint. And look what she can do. We have 3 people on the phone right now, a full-fledged auction for Land Park trees. It just jumped up from $450 to $510. We're headed up to the retail of $750. We know this one's going to go up that high. Patrice is a collectible artist, and her pieces are growing in value. It's still going up in value right here as we watch. Jason, back across the studio.
Hey, Rob, are we going to see Kenny on that one? Oh, there's Kenny. Hey, Kenny. Bye, Kenny. We got a bell ringer right there. Kenny dropped by to say hello. That is so exciting. Okay, let's go back to this piece here. And Kenny's not here yet, but I have a feeling we're going to see Kenny on the Tower Theater. You know, the Tower Theater is so iconic.
It is. It really is a memorable location in Sacramento. And we're also drawn to the Land Park reference, what we had just seen in our last painting. I think the wonderful part about this piece is that there's so many different colors in here, and as you explore it further, you can see the warmth and the golds as it moves into the purples and the reds, and then it transitions into this really vibrant blue. It's a great size as well. It's very striking. The white that's running through it keeps your eye moving around a piece, and a very successful piece keeps your eye moving around so that you want to explore it even further.
Well, if you have any affinity for that area and the Tower Theater, this is your piece, and I'm sure it's speaking to you right now. And we need to move on. Call 1-844-KVIE Art if you're interested in that piece. And we are now moving on to item 6C, which is Land Park Number 5 by Lorene Landau. This is acrylic on board measuring 32 by 42. It is a big piece and it has a retail value of $850. I love this piece. It's really quiet and serene, and you almost want to just fall asleep looking at it, don't you,
Isn't
Julie?
it wonderful? It's one of those pieces that is perfect for a reading room or a living room, and it has that calmness about it in a place that we're so familiar with of Land Park. Yet another view of Land Park in a very different way, where we have the duck pond here and we have the suggestions of the flowers that are here. What I love about this piece is it's somewhat abstract in that you can't see the detail, precise detail, but as you step away, you start getting a better vision of the overall picture. And when you're drawn in, you can see the exceptional work with the paint.
You know what? And I'm amazed at, like you said, the exceptional work. If you get close to it and really take a close look, you can see the different strokes and the different colors that are blended.
And she's done this on board, which gives it a very different feel. And the paint is accepted on board differently than if it's done on a canvas or if it's done on paper. And that's what creates some of these brush strokes and these lines that you can see in there, is because when it's done on that type of media, which is very, it's unusual to do it on that type of media because it can be a difficult media to work with, and she's done a remarkable job with it.
Lorene Landau is the artist, and we have someone here tonight that knows a lot about Lorene Landau, and that is Dee Neath in the phone bank. Dee.
Lorene Landau is near and dear to my heart, as many of you may know. Lorene was a very good friend of mine. She remembered KVIE in her estate planning and left a considerable amount of money to the station, and more importantly, left us some of her most beautiful artwork. She's part of what we have as a legacy collection. We have legacy artists who, through estate planning, have left us works that we can put in the auction each year. This is an absolutely gorgeous piece. If you live in Land Park, it's the Duck Pond. It's quintessential East Sacramento. She supported KVIE, so why don't you support KVIE as well and call at 1-844-KVIE Art and put a bid in on this beautiful piece. Let's go back out to you guys.
Boy, that is a fascinating story, Dee, and what a testament to the impact that folks can have on KVIE, and a testament to KVIE's impact on the community as well. Hey, we've got a bid of $255. I'm so happy to hear that. We can get higher than that. If you're interested, you need to call right now. You've heard the story behind this piece, and now you can see just how beautiful it is. We've been talking a lot about Land Park tonight, and this does capture Land Park very well. I've walked around this pond myself many times. I'm sure you probably have as well. And there's something serene about it. You're in the middle of the city, of the capital of California, and yet you can have that serene experience.
Well, and Lorene did this, this is a plein air piece as well, so that's on location, painted in the outdoors, at the park. As she was watching the park, she was painting the piece. So it brings you closer to the artist because the artist was actually there while she was experiencing the painting, while she was seeing the folks walking around the pond. And that is a picture, a photograph, let's say, of the day through the painter's eyes. And she's painted that, and she's painted her photograph that she saw there that day.
And I'm recalling the last time I was at Land Park at this pond, and I saw a little kid feeding the ducks there, the baby ducks, and they all scurried into the pond. Now, you don't see them here, but I'm sure they're right here. Imagine those times that you've had at Land Park. You need to capture that right now and go to the phone, 1-844-KVIE ART. That is 584-3278. And we are moving on. This next item is item 6D, and it is entitled Ziggurat by Pat Livingston. This is photography, 19.5 inches by 72 inches with a retail value of $2,000. We've already got a starting bid on this at $850, and I can see why standing next to this. And they had to back the camera way up for this piece, Julie, because it is a large piece and it is beautiful.
Well, the scale of this piece is just stunning. It takes your breath away. I mean, look how large this piece is, and it captures so much of the story of Sacramento. I mean, this is Sacramento. The piece was done, it's a photograph of the piece, but the way the piece has been printed and the way the piece has been artistically, digitally done is created a look of an oil painting. It has that look of having somewhat of an aged look to it, and it really enhances the character of what we know Sacramento to be and gives us that feeling of being right there on the water.
You know, something else I love about this is this was clearly done in the fall, which is the time of year that we're in right now, and that is a beautiful time of year for Sacramento. And what a beautiful time to capture the river, to capture Old Sacramento, the bridge, downtown. What a lovely area. You got folks dining at Joe's Crab Shack there. You've got a boat going under the bridge. You know, we have friends that we go boating with, and we've gone under this bridge many times on a nice Sunday afternoon.
Well, and
that's what this feels like.
He's done a great job, as you said, of capturing this photo in what seems to be the fall, because there's that great use of the warm colors. You can see the rust and the red colors in the buildings, the golden colors within the trees, and you can see that threading through the entire piece. It picks up on the bridge, also the golden color of the bridge, and then the blue strikes nicely against it. It's just such a striking color of blue.
You know, something else that I see just behind you on the very edge, you can even see the mountains in the distance.
Oh, there they are.
See that right by
That's
you
right.
there. Isn't that amazing?
Again, this is one of those pieces that you step away from and you say, well, that is Sacramento. And as you're drawn in, you start seeing the different details and the different stories of old Sacramento and Sacramento itself, the city itself.
And the art that is all around us. The phones are ringing. Let's check in with the phone bank. What's going on over there, Dee?
Yeah, it's exciting because I know that these first three people over here are on the phone about Lorene Landau's piece, and it just jumped up to $600. The retail value is at $850. It's framed beautifully. It's floating off of the mat. It looks like. You have a hard time. You can't even open your mouth because Dee has known Lorene, knew Lorene since she was 19 years old. Art dealer since you were 30.
I was her art dealer since I was 30, so for over 20 years I represented her work.
And I met you this way. I came to your house, which was Lorene's, which she left you to manage all of the art.
And her dogs.
And you let me plunder through all of her works of art.
Rob came out to do a Rob on the Road about Lorene Landau and her legacy 5 or 6 years ago. And it was the first time we met each other. And it's funny that we would end up working together and have such a fun time.
And then Miranda Johnson Gorman took the piece and then made it on the KVIE Art Showcase, so it's been multi-purposed. And this is fantastic. It's up to $625, going up to $850. Let's go back across the studio.
Well, that's fantastic news, Rob. And we just were taking a close look at some of the elements of this piece. And I'm happy to report that we are at $1,100 for this wonderful view of downtown Sacramento. I don't know if you can follow me here, but we've got a couple of guys going fishing right here. They're just going out to, I don't know what they're going to catch today, but they've got something on their minds. They're going fishing. We've got some other folks with the sailboat here. We've got people dining at the Rio City Cafe. This is Sacramento. If you love Sacramento, if you love the Sacramento skyline, if you love Sacramento in the afternoon, you need this piece in your home. You need to call right now, 1-844-KVIE Art, and it can be yours. And you can say, I support Sacramento, and I support KVIE Public Television. It is time to move on to 6E. This is Jaboom Street by Bruce Levitt. This is mixed media measuring 20 by 20 with archival framing, doing a beautiful framing job on this piece with a retail value of $600. Now, look at the colors in this piece.
I adore this piece. This has such an interesting, so many different interesting parts to it. Again, it's one of those pieces, when you're close up, what do you see? You see a lot of striking color, and as you move away, you can start seeing the streetscape. I think the use of the different colors here is just quite amazing. We've got the very subtle yellow with the striking blue again, and the red just moves your eye through this piece very, very nicely.
One of the beautiful things about abstract art is if you take a step back from it and look, you can see all of the elements that were captured.
That's right, and he uses such great use of scale. We have large elements, we have very fine, small elements, and another thing is the paint strokes in here they're going in so many different directions, and it keeps your eye just moving throughout the piece. Very, very striking piece.
Okay, just took a look. We don't have any bids on this piece, and we need to get the phones ringing now. It's got a value of $600. You need to call right now, 1-844-KVIE Art. We've seen so many different ways that folks have captured the beauty of Sacramento, and this is another way to capture that.
That's right, and well, Bruce works very freely. You can see that there's no constraint in the work at all, and it's also very much like a mosaic of color through all of these different elements throughout the piece. And then when you step back from that mosaic, you really can see the overall landscape of Jaboom Street.
Let's get those phones ringing. We need to check in with the phone bank. Going on.
All righty, thank you so much, Jason. And I'll tell you what, we are rocking and rolling here on the phone bank. Julia here as well. Hi.
Hello.
They've been getting so much action on the phone bank because people are committed to KVIE. Every dollar raised here goes toward the programming. 1-844-KVIE Art is the number to call. We've had such a wonderful evening. We are live all day tomorrow from 12 to 10 and Sunday as well. A lot of art to show you this weekend. Jason?
Well, that's right, Rob. I want us to finish strong tonight. We've got this piece and one more, so we need to get the phones ringing. Call 1-844-584-3278. Support your local public television station. Support your local artists as well at the same time. If you love abstract art, and I know so many folks do, this is a beautiful piece because it's abstract art, but it's done in your hometown.
That's right, and it's reflective of the area of Sacramento. Now, Bruce uses a variety of different types of materials in his work. He starts out with charcoal and graphite to get a sketch and an idea of his pieces, and then he moves in with the broad use of color. And you can see the broad uses of color here, and then does some fine tuning with the fine detail to enhance different features throughout the work. So layers and layers of work that goes into one of his pieces.
One of the things I love about the KVIE Art Auction, and it's really like our favorite time of year around here, is we get to find out the stories behind the pieces. And you can share those stories with your friends if you can get these in your home. Okay, it is time to move on to our last item of Friday night, the opening night of the KVIE Art Auction. This is 6F, the Grand Theater, Richard Herrera, with a value of $350. This is watercolor measuring 8 by 20, and it is framed by Richard himself, and a retail value of $350. We need to get the phones ringing on this piece. I love this piece. This is a smaller piece, but it really pops, Julie.
It's a smaller piece, but look at how the Grand Theater takes up the entire piece. I mean, it's a small piece, and the Grand Theater looks so grand, showcased in this way. Again, this is a piece done in watercolor, which is a very tricky medium to work in because the water keeps things moving around, and once you have the color down, you have to work with the color that you've placed down there.
You have to be very mindful of what you're doing the whole time.
Be very mindful. That is a good way of looking at it. And Richard's been working on pieces and worked more than 30 years. He's been contributing to KVIE for quite a long time. And I think this is a great piece that reflects our community and reflects the region.
We're looking for an opening bid of $105 on this piece, which is perfect. You need to get on the phone right now because this piece, I could see this in a study. I could see this in a bedroom even. 1-844-584-3278. Let's finish strong tonight. Let's get a bell ringer before we wrap it up on the opening night of the 2015 KVIE Art Auction. Don't you think we need another? I need to see Kenny flying on the screen again.
Yes.
Right?
That would be fantastic.
Well, let's get him flying on this right over the Grand Theater.
And this is one of those pieces, again, where you can tell the story of the Grand Theater. Oh, do you remember when? Do you remember when we used to visit there? My mom used to take me. We used to walk by there. It's one of these story pieces within our community where we can have a resemblance of something of the past, but bring it back to the present. I think he does a great job with this piece.
You're just about to go to bed at home, I bet, right? It's getting late. You're thinking, oh, maybe I want this piece. But in reality, you need to call because if you don't, someone else is going to get it and then you'll regret it forever. This is the Grand Theater, Sacramento Legends on display tonight. And we're so pleased to share this treasure with you. We think KVIE is a local treasure as well, so we're happy to share this with you as well. Let's go over to the phone bank.
All right, thank you, Jason and Julie. And I'll tell you, it is so important to go to kvie.org/art auction to get a leg up on all the pieces that are coming up tomorrow and Sunday. That way you know what you're going to be able to bid on. That's all for the first day of the KVIE Art Auction. Big round of applause, everybody. Tune in tomorrow starting at noon for 10 hours of live auction excitement featuring works from the Short Center, Elk Grove Artists, Lodi Community Art Center, the Artery, and more. Thanks for watching and for making art a part of your life on public television. See you tomorrow.